Well, hello there, friends, and welcome to Virtual Strangers 108. I'm your host, Wes. With me, as always, my good friend Roots. Seems like forever since we've done this, doesn't it?
It does actually, because I guess it's been a week. Usually, we're used to doing two shows a week, and last week we didn't get live with everybody. It's kind of disappointing, but at the same time, I had fun doing what we're doing, and I'm assuming we're still going to try to do the next week's show, and should be amazing from what I think.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, schedule caught up to us a little bit this past week. My work schedule specifically, and our schedule is going to catch up to us again this week. But as promised last week, we did a live premiere of a pre-recorded gameplay. Roots, myself, Eric Masher all played Forever Bowl, had a blast, and had fun chatting it up with the people who showed up to catch the video live. So while we haven't really been away all that long, it feels kind of good to get back in here and talk to everybody live. And what Roots was saying is absolutely true. We're gonna have something for you again this Wednesday. I'm not going to be here. I might not even be able to chat on this one. It's questionable. I'm going to try to, but I don't know exactly where I'm going to be and what I'm going to be doing at that time. But we will have some premium content lined up and ready to go. Irregardless, even if that was a word, we'll have something for you regardless on Wednesday.
Yeah, absolutely. And for some reason, my background's not moving, Wes. It's like just chilling out, man. It's like freaked. Um, but yeah, so it's been an interesting day. I've been having all sorts of technical issues. That always is fun. Everything's straightened out except for the fact that YouTube's amazing, and they are limiting throttling our stream again. So I don't know what's going on, but we're gonna play through it. And so just in case you see any weirdness, we know, and you don't have to worry about it because there's nothing we can do about it.
Too much good VR goodness for YouTube to handle. That's
Yeah.
what's up.
Yep. Absolutely.
Anyway, a quick programming note. The Jupiter Grad giveaway that we were going to announce the winner to this Wednesday live, we're going to go ahead and push that till 1 week from the day. So on our next live broadcast, 1 week from today, we will give away many copies of Jupiter Grad, both on Oculus Quest and PlayStation VR. Entries will remain open throughout the week. So go share the video, guys, and let's trust me. There's plenty to go around, and let's give away some good games. Let's find a good home for Jupiter Grad. It's lonely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so I got the background going, which was very weird. So yeah, it's been a crazy day, but I'll tell you what hasn't been. Well, I guess it was crazy. Is I wouldn't be me without talking about the amazing Risk of Rain 2 that I've been enjoying the last couple days or day or two, man. I just unlocked the Bandit, and I apparently Gamertag. Throw a shout out to Gamertag, man. He's got a playthrough I haven't seen where he did the Bandit, and he was Mash Daddy convinced me to play it, and I'm in love, and I can't wait to play some game of the Risk of Rain tonight and after the show.
Well, maybe, just maybe, that might be where our next episode takes place. If it's permissible, if we can have a conversation in there, it looks pretty intense.
Well, it is intense, but the thing is you get into a rhythm, and I think we'll be fine because there's so much going on that you're just gonna, and it's constant, so you'll just be constantly doing stuff while we're talking. But I think it'll be an amazing time, and I can't wait to play. And it's becoming my favorite VR game in VR. Who would have thought it'd be a mod? Well, actually, I might have thought it because AAA and the gameplay loop is amazing.
Yeah, Eddie C says, "Oh my God, Jupiter Grad was absolutely amazing." Yes, and for those of you who are wondering how you can enter to win a copy of Jupiter Grad for yourself, we did a video about 10 days ago. I think it's 3 episodes ago. You'll see Jupiter Grad giveaway in the title. All you have to do is click on that video, make sure you're subscribed, leave a comment stating which platform you'd like to enter to win a key from, and we're going to draw randomly. I think what, 3 winners from each platform? Is that what we're going to do?
Yeah,
I think so.
yeah, absolutely. And what an amazing game to play, and very unique, right? So
Absolutely. Um, so yeah, I lost my train of thought. Eddie says, "Damn, count me in. I love Risk of Rain too." Yeah, I think that's the sentiment on the Discord this past week, isn't it?
yeah, it's just been so crazy, and it's I think we got to like level or the seventh, 5 or 6 or 7 rounds. I can't remember. We got so far, and it got to I had everybody died except for me, and I got to a point where like the level started like saying I'm coming for you, and I see you. Then it was like I'm coming for you, and then like it, but it was way past insane. Like it just gets harder and harder and harder, but your weapons scale up, man. And oh my god, I just can't stop talking about it. So I can't
You
wait to play
sound
it with
like
you.
you sound like you're describing Returnal, which is once again for the third week running the game that I put the most time in is Returnal. I finally beat the first boss, Roots.
Nice. Well, that's 15 hours. Somebody said it took them to, I think, was it Driven By to beat the whole game? How many hours have you put into it?
It took me at least that long to beat the first boss.
That's because you're so thorough, bro. But let me tell you this, and this is something to be thought about for this other game. Mash Daddy, did hear that he bought PlayStation 5, correct? And he got Returnal. And he said it's sitting there. He was gonna go play PlayStation 5 last night for the first time. He got so sucked into Risk of Rain. He was saying this morning when we were playing, he said, I've got Returnal sitting there. He's like, I can't go away from this game. And I'm thinking you might feel the same way when you get into it because now you're in Returnal, even though you don't have the haptics. And that's something that maybe Mash will change his mind on when he tries it. I know that that's what was it Driven By, right? That was talking about it. That said that he turned it off for a little bit and he couldn't take it. He had to turn it back on the haptics of the controller because it's so much of the game that it kind of made it
Yeah.
suck after not using the controller or not as good.
It's one of these things where there's a lot of different things going on at the same time in the gameplay, and it's a bullet hell game, so you can't take your eyes off of the enemy. You constantly have to be looking at the enemy, so you're counting on other cues to give you information. You're counting on the 3D audio, and you're very much relying on the haptics to tell you things. And yeah, it not only would make the game much less of an enriching experience if there were no haptics. It would be much more difficult to play as well.
Yeah. So I guess I will find out whether it's the haptics or if it's comparable in this game, if it's going to be something that draws you in so much that you know what I mean? Like you've always said that being in the game, in the VR game is trumps any flat game, right? So this might be something that opens your eyes if Returnal feels like it's not you just need to play that more anyway, you know what I mean? Or vice versa. Um
Well, I will say this: a lot of the gameplay that I'm putting in on that game is right when I get home from work, and I'm just tired, man. I don't feel like getting up and putting stuff on. I just want to sink into my chair and chill
yeah.
for a little bit. And the PlayStation 5 is definitely taking advantage of my weakened state, we'll say.
Yeah, well, absolutely, and that's one of the things I've always thought is the sometimes the just using or not wanting to be on in VR, but you still want to play something, and that's where a good flat game fills in that gap. It doesn't mean that it's your go-to, but it's like I just don't feel like putting that stuff on my face. It's hot, tired, those extra steps. It's weird with VR. Once you put that headset on, and you're in, it changes, but it's that initial hump to get over, right? Sometimes I don't feel like getting into VR, but I've forced myself, and then it's like, oh, this is amazing. But you know what I mean? It's weird. It's so weird. Even after all these years, I still have that same issue.
Yeah, and it doesn't hurt that this does happen to be, uh, a next generation game. We already talked about the sound and the haptics. I have a big, beautiful 4K HDR screen in front of me. This I'm immersed in this game, unlike any other flat game that I've ever played before, and it's very much because of the PlayStation 5 and its immersive capabilities. And I wanted to talk a little bit about that because Sony just hosted its corporate strategy meeting, and the company's executives talked extensively about their plans for the PlayStation business. Sony CEO Kenichiro Yoshida said, quote, "Our latest achievement in the experiential technology space is the PlayStation 5. We have integrated multiple technologies into the console, including audio, visual, and haptic feedback throughout the controller, all of which enable users to experience games with a sense of reality in real time and in an immersive manner. Our next challenge in the experiential technology space is virtual reality. Leveraging the knowledge that we gained from PlayStation VR, we plan to incorporate the latest sensing technology into our next generation headset." So, Roots, I know like that sounds like a bunch of corporate talk, but I think that it's notable here who's saying it. This isn't Jim Ryan, the CEO of PlayStation, who is often the one giving these types of statements. This is the CEO of Sony at large and all of their different divisions, talking about PlayStation, about the immersive capabilities of PlayStation 5 and how they're about to turn their focus to VR. And I think that's exciting.
Yeah, super exciting. And it's funny because that's what the person of that you were talking about for PlayStation said about all these things anyway a year ago or a year and a half ago. Right now, this is just being confirmed by other people, and I think it's going to be amazing. Those controllers are going to be next level, and they're going to make the index controllers look like garbage. I don't know if you'll be able to do your middle finger though, but or
Well,
all the other squeeze stuff.
not for nothing, but a lot of people's index controllers are literal garbage
Oh.
because they don't work and they can't get them fixed.
Yeah, which sucks, man. I only reason I always dig on that is because it was just the thing that I wanted so much out of the index. It was the one thing from day one when all of the index even ever got brought up. Everybody wanted the knuckles, right? And then it turns out to be like even somebody was saying today that there's a lot of weirdness around it, like that with Risk of Rain, you have to bring in a special configuration. It's not the go-to. Most people aren't designing stuff around index controllers. And so it's an extra added step on top of everything else. You want to play with your index, you can do it. It's going to be amazing. You're just going to have to set up your own bindings for the controller somehow. So,
Right, right. But anyway, I'm excited, Roots, because we've been doing this for a while now, right? Over 2 years we've done it, and over the time I've learned a lot, not only about creating content, and not only about VR, but I've noticed that it's cyclical. The gaming industry as a whole is seasonal, and you can expect certain things certain times of the year. And summer is a very special time of the year for the gaming industry, as this is the time when the different companies begin to hype, for lack of a better word, the public up, get people excited about what's coming next, so they're ready to drop their dollars when the holiday season gets here. And Roots, just watching the news cycle all around, it's becoming very obvious that it's almost summertime, man, and it's really starting to kick up in intensity.
yeah, we're going to start hearing games dropping left and right soon, right? Hopefully.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. As a matter of fact, right before we went on, I was reading that Jeff Keeley's summer gaming showcase is it's going to be next week, like next Thursday.
Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy.
And they're
Members. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, and they're going big this year, man. They're going to have live musical guest Weezer.
Oh, wow. Wow. Mepper says he changed the playback to set 0.75 and the buffering problems seem to go away and it doesn't seem to be getting behind. So if you're having issues with it, go ahead. I guess it is hitching right there. It hitches every side. I don't know what the hell is going on, man. I'm ready to flip tables over, make a call again. But this is what it is. At least the quality will be there in the long term. And as much as it pains me, if you're having that much of an issue, I would just probably wait until for the replay if it's bothering you, just because I don't want anybody to feel like they're getting a subpar thing. But anybody that sticks around or it hasn't been that big of a deal, we appreciate it. So
Yeah, this has been an off and on problem for a month with YouTube, and I don't know really what the deal is, but other people are complaining about it as well. So it's not just us, right?
yeah, yeah. Although there are channels not having issues, but I don't know. It's just I guess selective, or maybe I need to figure out what's going on this end. So we'll find out.
Anyway, loads of gaming news dropping left and right as the gaming industry ramps up for the summertime push. And on top of the PlayStation news we got last week, we got news from Epic Games as they have announced that Unreal Engine 5 is now available in early access, including a new template for VR projects built on OpenXR 1.0, the industry backed standard for building device agnostic VR and AR applications. OpenXR is a broadly supported standard for VR development, and Unreal Engine 5's latest VR template will include support for Oculus Quest 1, Oculus Quest 2, Rift S, Valve Index, HTC Vive, and Windows Mixed Reality. The VR template in Unreal Engine 5 is designed as an ideal starting point for VR projects. It has basic and extensible functionality for VR locomotion and object interactions built right in. So developers are finally getting to start playing with UE5 a little bit, Roots, and that's exciting. And, for anybody who's been keeping up with Unreal Engine 5 and the technology involved within, it's exciting to know that the game developers are finally getting to play around with it a little bit. And it's exciting to know that on day one, they have access to a new VR template, which really simplifies things for developers a lot, as the locomotion and hand interactions are all worked out from them from the very start of whatever project it is that they're working on. It's just one more step for VR as a whole, Roots, as we move forward. It's building a bridge to that next generation VR game that we all have been wanting from for a very long time.
Yeah, and it's going to make it easier for the devs, for even indie devs, to make the amazing AAA type of games. Imagine what the AAA games, all the tricks, all the time, all the things that they had to do to make everything run perfectly and look right, that they're going to be able to skip those different tricks, right? The time ones that take time. And so they're going to be able to focus on other things, other tricks to make other things amazing. I think we're just like right on the cusp of games that are just going to blow our minds away. And the fact that the PlayStation 5 specifically, without VR, the fact that it's brought you back into any type of flat gaming, is a big testament, because it was before the 5 was, you were adamant, no flat gaming. It's just not the same. And I think you're right as far as the haptics and the overall immersion, for you, is so good that you almost can get, it's like our imagination as kids, you get sucked back in so much so from everything else, you almost probably forget that you're sitting in front of a TV, and you might as well be in the game, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's powerful stuff, especially the 3D audio. The 3D audio is really, and they haven't really even begun to leverage the Tempest engine yet. It's still pretty similar to previous generations 3D audio. But inside the headphones, man, the directional audio works even if it is a flat game. If there's something behind my character, it sounds like it's behind me. So that's pretty awesome. And the games, yeah, you said it. They're just immersive on a different level now than they ever were before. And when I think about the prospects for PlayStation 5 VR, when I think about you know games coming from Sony Studios that are built in Unreal Engine 5 using the next gen technology like uh, Lumen and Nanite. It makes my figurative mouth water. I can't wait to get my hands on this stuff.
Yeah, it's gonna just. I can't wait to get into PlayStation 5 VR. It's gonna be amazing. So
Yeah, it's going to be great. Um, News from the Oculus Quest front this past week too is, as most of us know, Oculus Quest version 29 rolled out this last week, adding more quality of life features as well as 120 hertz support for Oculus AirLink. But as expected, a new version of Virtual Desktop was not far behind. The latest build of Virtual Desktop adds support for Facebook's Phase Sync technology, which is a frame timing management technology that Facebook first employed in its Oculus PC SDK. Late last year, Facebook brought the technology to its mobile SDK, allowing Quest developers to add support into their apps and potentially dramatically reduce latency on the Quest 2, thanks to the headset's increased GPU and CPU performance compared to that of the original Oculus Quest. As for Virtual Desktop, developer Gigodin expects that Phase Sync should, quote, reduce latency and provide better prediction for desktop and PC VR streaming. And that's not all, Roots. The update also had a new virtual environment, so we don't have to hang out in space anymore in between games.
Wow, that's awesome. The whole thing to me is just amazing, and I know I think it's Technoglitch that's a big proponent of this. So I always get people confused of whether it was Wolveraz. I know other people have said it as well. Very loyal to virtual desktop. I like to use both. If I'm going to do a Steam game, I'll do virtual desktop. If I'm going to do Oculus Link, I do the Air Link, and it works good for me. And then when which we've said it before, Oculus always messes it up between versions. Now you got the virtual desktop to fall back on, and it's amazing.
Yeah, man. Virtual desktop works so well for me that I haven't really bothered with AirLink. I tried to link up to it once. It didn't find my computer, and I didn't really care. Virtual desktop has pretty much worked anytime that I've needed it to. And half the time when I'm PC gaming, I'm playing on my G2 anyway. So, it's really not the biggest deal for me. I'm just excited at this dueling update between Oculus and Virtual Desktop. They keep trumping one another, and um, it's a good uh, it's a good example of the power of competition. Uh, the benefit of competition to the consumer.
Yeah, we actually benefit from it, so it's a good thing. As long as there's somebody out there that can still do it, that can push. I mean, they've actually Gia has pushed Oculus in a lot of ways. I don't even know if we would have AirLink if it wasn't for virtual desktop. You know what I mean? We probably, but definitely sped it up for sure.
Acidex says that Unreal Engine 5 demo was super cool. Can't wait to see what devs can do with the new tools for PC VR. Yeah, that demo, man, was an interesting thing. As if I understood it correctly, the people at Epic Games just basically sourced out a group of independent developers, uh, taught them, the basics on how to use the basic tools, the new stuff in Unreal Engine 5, and handed it over to them and let them see what they could do with it, see what they could come up with the assets that were already there. And that demo that they put out this last week was the result of that, and it's an amazing looking thing. Just to for it just to be a tech demo is it's something else, right? Yeah, I almost want to play this game now, Roots. And it's not even a game.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, maybe it is a game. Maybe it's a secret game, but no, it definitely looks good. I mean, I'll play any game that looks like that, and especially if it's everything's rendering in real time, right? There's no pop-ups. That's one of the things that I'm starting to not like in a lot of games that I play. I just want things. I mean, it's not that it's bad. It's just it's how immersion breaking. If something's not there and then all of a sudden it's just there in front of your face, it just even on a subconscious level, it's a reminder that you're in VR, right? And so eliminating that 100% is going to be game changing in and of itself.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, Paradise Decay in the chat said I rewound the stream 10 minutes and what do you know? No buffering. So there's a secret for you guys. If it's buffering too much, if it's if it's resetting too much, just take it back a little bit and just comment on whatever you're watching, and we'll play Time Machine, and we'll reply to your comments even if we're on to the next subject.
Chris Richardson says, refresh is the answer. Thanks. So we got multiple answers, just like real life. There's multiple answers to every question, unless it's math. There's only one answer. I don't care what they tell us. It's a lie. 2 + 2 always equals 4. You can argue how you get there, but it's always 4.
Well, our friend Cyril from Garage Collective is in the chat. Hey, Cyril, thanks for showing up. And he says refreshing did work for him as well. And then he says, oops, spoke too soon. So
it works for a second.
If it's too much of an issue, Cyril, we are going to talk about Garage Collective's game, Stones of Harlath, during our new segment today. But it's going to be a little while. I think out of 6 topics, it's number 5 or number 6. So we'll probably be at least an hour before we get around to that. So thanks for showing up, man. We really appreciate you coming by to hang out. And I guess we need to get to it, Roots. We need to get to the news. But before we do that, we need to do as we always do and say hello to our friends in chat. And I just specifically want to shout out Traveling Man right off the top, getting the tip train into position and getting it rolling with 2 $5 donations before the show even started. So thank you, Traveling Man. Your support's very much appreciated.
You rock. And that's amazing. And Aylin Kara, I saw Aylin Kara was asking if the virtual desktop or the AirLink has less latency. People say AirLink, but that's what Wes was just talking about. That's what Guy's been working on. Supposedly it's comparable, if not maybe better. And I have good news for you. We're going to be talking about some pinball, Star Wars pinball for Aylin Kara today. I know you love that game.
Yep. Yeah, we are definitely going to be talking about Star Wars pinball. But before we even get to that, I just want to talk a little bit about Swarm. No, I'm just playing. We're not going to talk about Swarm today that much. Anyway, GamerChick13, ever faithful in the chat. Thanks for coming by. Our friends at Rendered Reality in the chat. Hello. They say at first virtual desktop was working a lot better than AirLink, but lately AirLink has been flawless for me. So I need to check it out, Roots. Again, not because of any kind of benefit it would play to me in my personal life, but just so I could see what it's like, man, to say I did it.
Well, and if you're using your Oculus headset, I mean, it's designed for Oculus. You can't, nobody's going to convince me that you're not going to get a better experience through the AirLink on an Oculus game, unless there's some confliction, which is what some people have. And then the dash, I mean, everything's set up that, ASW is superior in my opinion. So, I mean, I think it's a better thing to use for wireless Oculus games, but there's probably the same thing you could say about the Steam versions on the other side. So,
Rendered Reality in chat says YouTube streams can be a pain in the butt sometimes. Definitely hit that like button extra hard. And you know who else loves it when you hit it extra hard, Roots?
My mom.
Oh yeah, she does. And Gamertag sliding in there, calling us dirty boys. Man, just perfect timing for that conversation. But yeah, so yeah, we apologize for the YouTube crap, and I got tomorrow off, and I know for a fact that Comcast has people from other countries that probably aren't taking Memorial Day off. And so somebody will answer my call and somebody's going to figure out what's going on. And I mean, we theorize it's YouTube, but it could be on my end as well. Again,
Roots, I didn't even see GT in the chat because I was for some reason set to top chat. How stupid is that? But I want to take the opportunity to once again congratulate our friend Gamertag Roots. 25,000 subscribers for Gamertag VR.
Wow.
That's an amazing milestone and well deserved. I say it's well deserved, but really it's more appropriately well earned because that guy puts in the work.
Yeah, every time I turn around, there's something new. You make me tired when I see how much work you're putting in, and I'm not even doing your work. But on a side note, it couldn't happen to a better person, personally, because there's no more humble and just amazing person than GT. So we appreciate you, GT. Appreciate your content, and keep it coming.
Absolutely. He's going to be up to 30 and then 50 before you know it,
Oh
Roots.
God. Well, we'll be stuck at 1.08K. It's a slow grind, bro. But it's a
Hey,
very
we got up to 109 for a day.
oh well. Hey, yeah. Well, I probably said something that offended somebody, but I decided a long
Probably.
time ago that I'm going to be myself and let everybody fall off as they may, and everybody that sticks around is awesome. Everyone else, then they found something better to find, I guess.
Right. There's no sense in coming on here and pretending, right? That's one thing I can't stand on YouTube and outside of YouTube is a poser.
Yeah.
And you don't have to worry about that here. We are 100% genuine with you guys, and we say what we think. And sometimes that gets us into a little bit of trouble. But for the few of you who manage not to be too offended, I think you appreciate that about us. So
Yeah, I'm a very opinionated person, and I'll let you know how I feel, and hopefully you still like me. But
anyway, person in the chat. Hello, friend. I love your. By the way, I want to say it every week, but I love your profile pic. It's just always smiling at me and makes me feel a little bit better. Ray
uh,
Delator says YouTube asshole. Yeah, YouTube is an
mm,
asshole, friend.
yeah,
Techno Glitch says nothing works. Well, that's true in life, pretty much, isn't it? Chris
yeah,
Richardson, refresh backs it up a bit, works for a bit, then you have to do it again. Mapper 1+1 makes 3. Indeed, that's the new math. That's what I hear anyway.
yeah.
Let's see who else is here. Lipnox is here. Hello. We already said hello to Island Kara. And let's see. Techno Glitch, apt name for today's stream, Techno Glitch.
Yeah.
Factory Life, I backed it up 30 seconds, seems fine now. Chat's still going. Yeah, you set a buffer, it'll you'll be good for a little while anyway. Eddie C, we already said hello to him. Void Cat, Space Dennison in the house. And looks like everybody's here. Just about everybody's here, Roots. So why don't we get started on this week's news? Because as always, tons of gaming news to talk about. First of all, let's talk about Steam Nexfest 2021. Valve is set to host its inaugural Steam Nexfest event, a multi-day celebration of upcoming games taking place June 16th through June the 22nd. During the event, PC gamers will get to explore and play hundreds of game demos, watch developer live streams, and chat with the teams about their games in progress. A preview page for the event is available, and we can already see a ton of VR titles that are scheduled for appearance, some highly anticipated and others that I am unfamiliar with. Some of the titles that are new to me, though, look incredible. And I can say that genuinely, Roots,
Hmm.
as I was scrolling down through the very long list of VR titles that are going to be part of this event. Some of them I've never heard of, and they look great. And some of them you don't have to wait that long. I mean, some of these games even coming out this month.
That's crazy, dude. Like one of the games that we're gonna be checking out soon, Guardians. I didn't even know existed for App Lab, and every time I turn around, there's something new. And now all these games, I just don't. We're right on the cusp of this summer, and I'm already feeling overwhelmed, Wes. Like I've got too much to play, and I'm only playing 2 games because they're so good. And all these new games coming out look phenomenal, and we still have games that haven't we haven't heard anything on for a while that could just drop out of nowhere, like that Zach, what's his name? Zach, the Prodigy guy.
Zach T. Brown.
Yeah. Was it Zach T. Brown, the one that's making the sequel to that other game?
Vertigo remaster
Yeah,
or Vertigo
yeah,
2.
Vertigo 2. Man, that could drop out of nowhere. And there's so many games that are right on the edge of nowhere, just waiting to come dropping. And then we have all these other games that we know are coming. So I'm feeling a little overwhelmed, and I haven't even played any of them yet.
Yeah, I can echo your sentiment. It was a little bit relieving this past week, not having to plan for that show on Wednesday, not having games that I had to play. It kind of freed me up a little bit. And just, I played games when I wanted to. I played what I wanted to. And which, I mean, we always, don't get me wrong, we never play games that we don't want to play, right? I only ask for keys. I only accept keys from games that I want to play. But you never really get to stick with any of them, right? You have to 2 hours, 3 hours, then on to the next one. So it was nice to not have to do any of that last week, spend as long as I want and whatever I wanted. But here just a few days later, and it seems like it's piling up. And we don't have a game, or I'm sorry, we're not going to have a live show this Wednesday to kind of outlet it. So we've got stuff like Solaris piling up. We've got Stones of Harleth that, again, that's coming out this week that, we'll be covering on next Wednesday's show. What else, Ruuts? I mean, there was a ton of them, wasn't there?
Yeah, the Guardians that we just got the key
Guardians,
for.
yeah.
And there was a couple other ones I know
Carve
as well.
snowboarding.
Yeah,
Carve snowboarding.
and we still have to get into the Sandlockie gun stock.
Yeah.
Like there's just so much.
And game of the month next week too.
Oh God.
Well, we're gonna do a 5-hour live stream when we go back to live shows on Wednesday.
It's gonna be a long episode. Well, maybe not 5 hours, but I'm gonna figure out what is going on with this thing, because you know what's weird? I'm looking at my network drop frames, and it's staying consistently at 65%. So 65 of my percent is getting throttled. It doesn't sound normal, Wes.
No, that definitely is not a normal thing. Like if you went to the doctor and they tested your liver functionality and it was at 65%, they would notify your relatives.
Well, it's at 65%. Well, no. Yeah, the 65% is dropped. So that's even
right.
worse.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Anyway, tons of stuff on next Wednesday's show. I can say certainly that we will be talking about Stones of Harleth and Carve snowboarding 100%. There'll probably be another game or two on top of that. And then we're going to do game of the month. So it's going to be an epic show next Wednesday, the 9th, when we return to Strangers in the Night live. So you guys be sure not to miss out on that one.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to this Steam event. What you're saying is true. We could get Vertigo 2. This list of VR games that are going to be attending at this event is constantly growing. So that one very well could pop up. And you would think if anyone were going to pop up at a Valve event, it would be that guy, right? Because of his affiliations and ties to Steam and Valve. But we do have some well-known, highly anticipated games going to be attending, like Against, which we talked about last week. I Expect You to Die 2, which a lot of people are hyped on. After the Fall, which just about everyone is hyped on. Into the Darkness, and Undead Citadel, which I was just asking about on the Discord a few days ago. Where's my Undead Citadel? I want to play this game. And like Clockwork Roots, you say its name just like Beetlejuice. And here it is. We're going to get to see some more Undead Citadel next week.
Nice. And when do we get our Jesus radar? Have we heard from that guy or no? Probably not.
I spoke with him very briefly about a month, six weeks ago. And he assured me, he didn't say much, but he did say that we would get our Jesus radar. So that game, what's it called? We always call it Jesus Radar. You've called it that so many times. I forgot the actual name of the game.
Somebody in the chat's got to know. I'll tell you what, though, man. I guarantee it's going to be amazing. It was already amazing when we first saw it to begin with. The footage.
Yeah,
I can't wait to see it when it comes out.
Yeah, you're messing with me now. I can't think of what the name of the game is because I'm trying to think of it. But anyway, yeah, we're going to get to see more on Undead Citadel and After the Fall this week. Into the Darkness, which is one we covered last week. If you'll remember, it's like Boneworks, except it's an actual game. And we're going to get to see more of that this week, which the more I see of that game, the more excited I get for it.
Yeah, me too. And Gamertag says he would be a horrible president unless it was he pledged on Roots' beard. He will do his very best for the VR lights in VR land. Oh, so he's basically saying that as far as VR, he would be the best president ever. And he would pledge on my beard. And
I'll just say this with regards to the president of VR. If it came down to Gamertag and Eric, I'm voting for Gamertag.
Yeah, for sure, dude. He's the true president. He's going to dethrone
But you
you,
never
Eric.
know, though. He still might lose because never mind. I'm about to get on some long analogy about vote buying, and I'm going to play nice, Roots, and we're going to move on. Anyway, stay tuned to the show over the next couple of weeks, as we certainly will be highlighting some of these games that are going to be featured at this event. Roots, I mean, this list of VR games is like for someone like me who's trying to plan a show every week, and what I really pride myself on with this show specifically is having games that no one else is talking about. We always have one or two that nobody else said a word about this week that, they'll all talk about it next week or the week after. And this list on Steam is a gold mine for someone like me, because there's so many things on there that look interesting that I've never heard of. So we're definitely going to be covering some of this stuff over the next few weeks.
Yeah, it's exciting, right? For sure.
Yeah. And on a quick side note, speaking of Boneworks, Stress Level Zero developer Brandon Latch recently teased progress on the studio's next game via Twitter. Quote, "Progress update on showing the next game. We're playing through builds of what we intend to show / film daily. Frame rate is 90% of the way there. Needs sound, sequence, and scene polish, as well as some bugs fixed. I spent an hour messing around with 3 bodies on an escalator last night." So exciting news for fans of Boneworks, for fans of Stress Level Zero Roots, as apparently Project 4 going to be revealed quite soon.
Yeah, actually, somebody was just asking about that in Mash's Facebook group and was asking when Boneworks was coming to it, and I went in and checked in the news and saw that article had existed and that they were teasing that they were going to be releasing this. I mean, and that could mean that they're getting ready to drop it soon. Just the way that things work, right? So I mean, definitely, probably this summer, I would imagine, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The not a whole lot of news dropping. They did go back and forth with fans a little bit on Twitter. Really, only news we got out of it, other than implied news, like we're going to hear more soon, is they did confirm that the game will release on Oculus Quest as well as PC VR and perhaps PlayStation 5 VR as well. They said that really that's going to depend on whether or not they get a developer kit. So I guess they haven't got their dev kit for PS5 VR yet.
Oh, well, I'm sure it's coming soon. They're having a trouble getting the PS5s out there. So GT says I should drop it even lower to like 5,000 to 6,500, and that might help it even more. But I can't do it, unfortunately, while it's going. Could stop the stream, but then that creates all sorts of other issues, right? So
yeah, I'm not sure.
It's the same issue, right?
Yeah, I think if you stop, I mean, I would be all for trying that if I knew it wouldn't like completely end the stream. But I think it might, if you hit stop on streaming, I think it might just kill it completely, and then we'd have to put up a new link for everybody, and that would be just a big mess. For all of the issues that this gives us during the live stream. I will say that when it finishes processing on YouTube, it is in perfect quality. So maybe we'll play around with the bitrate a little bit more if we have these problems again next time.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what we should do is maybe come on a little bit earlier and test it. But I'm definitely gonna be talking to somebody, figuring out that it's not on my internet provider. It's definitely through the internet. Whether it's my router or something, but it's still going on. So I might just tell them I want a new router. I want a freshie.
Hey, freshie never hurts, right?
Yeah. Well, I had the same problem last year, and it could be that everybody's stuck at home and they're giving everybody free internet. Are they doing that again this time? Because last time this year, I was paying what I'm still paying now, and I was being throttled because everybody was having free internet, which was amazing.
Oh man. The Jammertech says the stream's okay as long as you're a little behind. You know who has a big behind, Roots?
My mom!
Yeah.
How dare you?
Anyway, let's move on. Let's talk a little bit about, let's move from games that are coming to Steam and go to a game that just came to Steam. Wraith the Oblivion Afterlife, now available on Steam VR with support for all major PCVR headsets after launching in April on the Oculus Store for both Quest as well as Oculus Rift. The game is currently 10% off until May 31st, bringing it from its MSRP of $30 down to $27. The launch also coincides with a minor new content update for all platforms that also addresses some of the bugs from the previous release. According to the patch note, the update adds 10 new collectibles spread across the Barclay Mansion, which give, quote, additional context to some of the characters and the story. There's also an extensive list of bug fixes that amend some issues present in the Quest and Rift release, a few of which involve behavior and actions of some of the specters that you will encounter. And for those of you who are interested, I've posted the full patch notes on our Discord in the VR related news channel. Again, link in the description if you want to keep up with all the daily happenings in VR. Our Discord, the perfect place to do so. So, Roots, I've said it before. We've got a lot of good games, horror games in VR, not a lot of great ones. This one is very good. And we generally get 1 to 2 very good horror games per year. And I feel like as far as 2021 goes, this is our one.
Yeah.
At least so far.
Well, somebody else said something else. I can't remember what the other game was. That other one that were Cosmo Dread. Somebody brought that up last time. And, because I could kind of forget about that, right? But that wasn't that long ago. It's an amazing game as well.
Talk about some amazing atmospheric horror, right?
Absolutely. Now let me ask you this: there's 10 new items in here that's going to fill in a little bit of the story. If there's not a way to just look at those 10 items, or do you go back in and try to find them again and learn more, or because you've already beat it, right? So.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm sure I'll be revisiting this one soon anyway. And by soon, I mean by October, because 'tis the season, right? When Halloween approaches, we tend to dive back into our horror titles. That's not the only reason I want to dive in. There are some quality of life updates with this patch as well. There's a new graphics slider in the options. There weren't any graphics options before. Now there are. So there's some stuff I want to play with outside of the new story content that got added in.
Oh, cool. Well, I'll tell you what, amazing game, amazing story, and definitely worth playing. Slow burn, but a slow, interesting burn, not slow, boring. Just takes a while, like 3 hours to get into it to really get to the meat of the story. But and then after that, it's action from then on. So definitely a cool game.
Paradise Decay says PD for president. So some conflict developing, Roots. I don't know who to support. Vote for Pedro, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, Scion VR. I was just about to type in there. Coming into the set, he says, "Hello, the PC VR master race and anti-Facebook, anti-Oculus president is here. You are that president, Scion. And Scion, dude, you got to get into Risk of Rain too, man. We were talking about this late. This is our new gauntlet, man. This is our new grind for the group. And so, you got to get in there, bro. I'll buy you the damn game to get you in there with us."
Yeah, Sion's going to be too busy playing season 2 of Echo VR, Roots. I heard that there's some bitchin' new cosmetics that are going to be coming this season.
Really? Wow. Well, that sounds good.
Yeah.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah. Anyway, Wraith Oblivion. I lost my train of thought where we were at there. Roots, are you interested at all in checking this out on PC now that it's been updated for PC?
Well, didn't we have access to we had Oculus access, or they?
Yeah, and it was I don't mean picking it up on Steam. I mean with the Steam release, the Oculus PC version was patched as well, so it should be the same version on both platforms.
Right, so it'll look better. Absolutely. I enjoyed the game enough that I would like to go back in and play through some of it again. I recommend this to everybody. Every time they say they want a good horror game, this is the one I recommend because it's the newest one that came out, and it was just
Right.
the story is just so compelling, and it really is like you're watching this AAA story movie, and you're in it. You're in the story, and that's what I like. That's what I like about it the most, even more than the horror part. Because I'm not a big stealth person, but I guarantee you, when I see something catch my eye, or it sees that it's seeing me, dude, I'm in full force running to get the hell away from it, and that tells me that I'm on some level, I'm in there. You know what I mean? I haven't ran like that since Jack, and that's a big compliment. So
Yeah, some of the behavior of some of these characters has been changed with this patch as well. Like I know it said that there's a certain one that will now get in a tug of war with you with the door handles, and they always win. So for those of you watching, don't try that. The guy that is hanging from the rope apparently doesn't chase you quite as much. That guy, I don't know if was this for you, like this for you,
hmm.
but that guy showed up in some very unexpected places later in the game, and I'm assuming that that wasn't really the intention. So they've kind of reined that in a little bit, which I think is a good idea.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, man, it was hard, dude. This game is not easy too. Once you get further on, man, it becomes very crazy and chaotic at times, and that's what I love about it. So
Yeah, and I would suggest to anyone who's thinking about picking this up or starting playing it, you need to have patience with it because it is a slow burn. It does take some hours before this game really picks up. I mean, but when it does, it takes off, right? The story and the gameplay.
yeah, and then like I said, that this is a game that for me, that what gripped it for me was the story, and that's why the 3 hours didn't seem like it was anything. It was just like I wanted to find out more about what's going on, and that tells you that it's a good story. Not every story should be told, Wes, and not every story is going to be listened to by this ears, not in full anyway. And that tells it how good it is as well.
Yeah, absolutely. A great game. One of the better games. That was released this past year, and I'm sure it's going to be a game we're talking about during the 2021 show at the end of the year. And while we're talking about the 2021 show, just a real quick thank you to everyone who has donated keys to our channel over the last couple of months. We've got a bunch in routes. I don't tell you every time we get keys, but 2021 show already in a good place with regards to giveaway keys.
Mm.
We went almost 8 hours for the 2020 show, and I said we wouldn't do that again, but man, it's already. I mean, I think we could do 4 hours of giveaway right now.
You know what we could do is we could make it a double header. If we can coordinate it time wise, where we're both available, and have like half the show one day and the half the show the next day. That was one of the coolest things I used to love. Of course, they were back to back, but I used to go to like a baseball game with my dad or something. We'd have double header. It'd be like 8 hours or 10 hours. Of the Dodgers or the Angels when I lived in California, and it was cool.
Well, I can assure you that it will be different. The 2020 show was significantly different from the year prior, and this year will be no different. 2021 show will be different than the 2020 show. I hope we don't do 8 hours again, but you can't put limits on greatness, right?
Nah, it was fun. I had a fun time. It was cool because you came up with a lot of unique ideas on how to split it up to where we got breaks, and then we got to relax a little bit for like an hour in between, and it almost didn't feel like we were doing it for 8 hours straight. And that's the key, right? Now I was
And how
surprised.
about those? I mean, we got breaks, but there were people in the chat from start to finish on that thing. We never dipped below 60 viewers the whole time, meaning that at least a good 30 to 40 people started watching it and didn't quit until the end of the show. That's a full shift of work, Roots. 8 hours. That's incredible.
That's crazy. That's super crazy, man. Scion says he's been playing through Senua's Sacrifice, man. He said it feels nice. It's the game, the reason he bought the headset. He's finally playing through it. It's an amazing, feels nice playing it, and it's awesome. And Ray Delator is throwing out $10. Says it's the best VR show ever. Yeah, I agree. To the best VR show. Oh well, yes. To GT. To your. Oh wait, no, you're talking about us. Oh, you guys are. You're so nice, Ray.
GT doesn't do a VR show per se,
No.
and I tend to agree with Ray Del Toro. Roots. I probably watch our show just as much as I watch any other one, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's what I said. I can. It's not even a joke, and you've said the same thing. I will go to download it for Anchor, and I'll go to play back a little bit just to make sure everything's good, and I'll end up sitting there listening for most of the show, and I don't even. It's like I get sucked into the conversation, and I've already had the conversation with you, but it's like I don't know. I just enjoy it that much.
Yeah, and Hellblade, again, one of my very favorite games in VR, and it's amazing, Roots. Everybody gets all pissed off and butthurt when these gamepad games come along, um, but literally half of my favorite games are gamepad games in VR.
Yeah, I love it, and I've actually been tempted to try Risk of Rain 2. Well, no, I'm not. It's so good with the motion controls, and like if I could see somebody that's maybe they've played the flat version so much that if you're some games, I mean, it would benefit you to be able to play like even Red Dead Redemption 2 because that's how I've always played it. I don't think about it. I'm just playing the game. I'm immersed in the game, and because it doesn't matter whether I have my hand presence or not. It's a weird thing some people focus on. I think it cannot matter. Edge of Nowhere was one of my favorite games ever, and that was a gamepad game as well. And I just
Yeah.
think that people limit themselves in a lot of ways, and it's kind of sad because if they just open themselves up a little bit more, they might realize, wow, this is an amazing experience. And I almost missed it because I didn't want to. I wanted to have hand presence. Um, it's weird.
You know who always opens themselves up a little bit more for hand presence?
My
Oh
mom!
wow, man, that is did not know that one, but that's definitely intriguing to know.
Onakazi says the best VR show? Yes. 3 cheers to Epic's
Oh, I miss
311.
Epics, dude. Man, where is Epics, bro? He had a
Yeah,
cool
no, I
beard
thought
too.
about trying to track him down, Roots, and have him on as a guest if he has any interest in talking about VR anymore. He's been MIA for over a year now, but I too enjoyed the VR show when it was around. He has a good naming ability for his show as well. The VR show is something that I would have taken had he not already done it.
Yeah, I miss Epics. I'm sure he's out there. Epics, we want to have you on the show. Give us a jingle.
Anyway, we promised Island Car Roots that we were going to talk some Star Wars Pinball
Ooh.
VR. So let's do it. Zen Studios Star Wars Pinball VR launched last month for all major VR headsets, offering fans an entirely customizable cave as well as a virtual pinball machine with 8 awesome tables to choose from. This past week, Zen released a new table dedicated to Han Solo and
Oh my
Chewbacca,
god.
coming from Pinball FX3. Star Wars Pinball Heroes Within Pack. This free table offers new gameplay opportunities and unlockables for your cave. The Millennium Falcon sits at the top of the table and plays a part in the challenges, tasking you with placing the ball in secret compartments, fixing the hyperdrive, or and helping to destroy the Death Star. Like other tables, there's a VR enhanced minigame to find, allowing you to pilot the ship through an asteroid belt while avoiding incoming fire from TIE fighters. Of course, Star Wars Pinball VR available now on all major platforms for $25. So here we are, Roots. We said it before. We were kind of iffy on the $25 price point for a pinball game that is just as much novelty as it is gameplay. Even if I did eventually come around and admit that I was probably underselling the gameplay a little bit, it is fun to play this. But we said that value proposition would get better if they were to give us some more tables. And here we are, not even a month later, Roots, and we get this free new table. And not only is it a new Star Wars Pinball VR table, but it's one of those from FX3. So, I mean, I'm sure it's a really nice table.
Wow, how many Star Wars tables are out there, Wes? For
I have no
FX3.
idea.
There's got to be a lot
Yeah.
of them, man. And this should get people excited because This shows you that they can and will bring these tables in. And one of the things that because I haven't played it yet, thought about going into it, and then Risk of Rain 2 drew me in and took all my time, but I am going to go into it now, especially because some of these other tables, the older ones that they remastered, were cool, but they didn't have what this has, which is like all the things going on, like the ship taking off inside the ship, the thing, and coming out and flying um out of your table there, and the mini games, and just the way that I just looks so cool, man. This is like the next level, and it gives me hope for FX3 in VR as well. Like, why would you not bring it to VR if this one doesn't is as successful as the I think it's gonna be or has been. There's so many tables, not just Star Wars. You get every genre, all these genres, all these different tables. Somebody may not be a Star Wars fan, but they're an Indiana Jones fan or whatever it is. I just think that there's, and assuming there is an Indiana Jones table for FX3, but I just think it's really good sign. If you like VR pinball, I think this is a good sign for how good this game is, and I want to check it out.
Yeah, it opens up the question, Roots. Do we really need Pinball FX3 to become VR, or do we need to just have some more DLC packs for Pinball FX2?
Well, that's true. The only thing is that FX2, for whatever reason, they just stopped making VR packs. You know what I mean? And I guess you could do FX3, or two, and not do FX3, but I would imagine they would want to resell a whole new game, FX3, and then they could do the same packs, but then you still have to buy the base game again. You know what I mean? And considering that they're different games, I just think there's so many tables for FX3. Either way, I would take them. I've played some of them in what's Helix Vision, and they were amazing, but they weren't as good as being in the game, right? So definitely want to see FX3 or those tables in VR.
When I first started playing VR on my PlayStation VR, one of the early games that I played was Doom VFR, and one of the coolest things that I immediately found when I first started playing it was there's this room that has all of these miniature figurines of the enemies, and you can pick them up and zoom into them, and all of a sudden you're in this environment, and there they are in full detail and lifelike size, standing right in front of you. And I thought that was just the coolest thing. And come to find out that there are things like this in this pinball game as well. Specifically with this table, you have the ability to unlock a full life-size Han Solo and Chewbacca for your little cave there. And it's one of those things that VR can do that really doesn't make any sense for any other platform. So what I'm wondering, Rich, we kind of scoffed last week at the idea of anybody putting any time into this to decorate their cave, but that sounds really cool to me. There's already a really cool life-size Jabba the Hutt that comes preloaded into the thing. Do you have any desire at all to unlock some of these things and really deck out your cave in with all of the most popular Star Wars characters?
I think it'd be cool. I mean, it's cool to do in general. I'm more about playing the game, but if I've got them and, like you said, checking them out life size and seeing them up close and personal, maybe looking at Princess Leia and her slave outfit or whatever. But
you read my mind. I was literally thinking that, like, I want that Leia to go with my Jabba the Hutt, man.
Yeah, dude, she needs to be right there next to him. Although I don't want her to be a slave, I want her to be a free woman. But just throw that out there. But yeah, no, it's but it's yeah, I agree. I think it's one of the coolest things about it, and it's definitely something that you can't it just wouldn't make sense on a flat game, like you said. Who cares? You're gonna see the character and you're gonna look over and do something else because you're not next to it. You're not looking up at Chewbacca and seeing how tall he is, right? It's like this would be cool if we get to the really real close graphics that I think we're going to get to in the short term. But imagine a VR wax museum or something of that nature, right? And just going in and checking out all the actors or people in different characters and having it look so real. That's one of the cool things about wax museums, and it's kind of died off. Most people don't care about that kind of stuff anymore, but I think being in VR would be really cool, right?
Yeah, yeah, and we've already seen how how entertaining a museum in general is in VR with the Museum of Other Realities, and I certainly would be down to witness something like that, especially as time goes on and we approach photorealism in VR, and we're really making big strides in that direction, almost daily now, at least weekly. You see it if you're watching the space the way that we do as content creators, you see the leaps and bounds that the technology is making. So I'd say that we're really probably just a couple years away at most from being able to have like a photorealistic gallery like that with real life figures.
Yeah, I agree, 100%.
Uh, Scion says in Hellblade, it said each time I die, the rot would grow until eventually the game was over. But I was dying a lot at the time because I didn't know the controls until later on. Yeah, man, you got to be fast. You got to dodge a lot. But after you get it down, it becomes second nature. And I
Mhm.
hope you stick through with this one to the end, um, because the levels are very different and they're all amazing.
Yeah. Scion is just now figuring out that the stream's cutting in and out. Yeah, we're having YouTube internet issues, and Acid 3 says he hasn't installed ROR2 VR mod yet. He wants to get used to the game. My advice would be just go in and play it the way it is, because it's going to be completely different in VR, because you're going to have both your hands, and I can't imagine anybody wanting to play it flat after they've played it in VR. It's just so amazing for the Risk of Rain 2.
Let's see. Person says I finally dipped my toes into Pinball FX2 VR last night. I only tried one table so far, but thought it was really cool. Yeah, I'm gonna be jumping back into the Star Wars one. I think basically because I bought it on PlayStation VR. It did have some technical issues at first, which I assume are patched out by now. Here we are, like 3 patches later, so I'm sure that it's much better now than it was. But I'm due a PlayStation VR stint. I play it in spurts. Generally, when I go over to PSVR, I have 3 or 4 games that I want to play because after you get in it for a little while and you get adjusted to it, one game grabs you and then the next one and the next one. But anyway, Ratchet and Clank is coming out in like 2 weeks for PlayStation
Wow.
5. And when that happens, I'm going to be putting my PlayStation back in the living room for a little while, and my PlayStation 5 that is. So I want to get in a good PSVR stint before then. So I'd say we'll probably be hopping into Pinball FX, or I'm sorry, Star Wars Pinball VR again this week sometime.
Oh, nice. Well, that's awesome. It's exciting, man. You're gonna be enjoying your time with the PlayStation 5 with your family, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, well, they love Ratchet and Clank. My sons do, so I wouldn't. I mean, unless I want to have them in my bedroom all the time, I'm going to have to take it through there.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'm looking forward to jumping back into PlayStation VR, honestly, and then not just for the new titles that I have to check out on it, but I've been itching roots to play some Rush of Blood and some Farpoint, and who knows? I may even jump into some co-op Farpoint as our friend Mateo just started playing it for the first time
Ooh,
a couple of days ago, and then we have Masher who just got PlayStation VR. He may want to get some multiplayer action going as well. So,
yeah.
um, I might be playing PSVR for the next 2 weeks solid.
That's crazy. That's cool.
Anyway, let's talk a little bit about some more PCVR roots. Let's talk about a game, interestingly, that after I decided to put it on this week's show, I found it in the that Steam event list, the list of games that are going to be at the Steam, what's it called again? The Nexfest later this month. Sweet Surrender. from Salmi Games is now listed on Steam as aiming to release in late 2021. Sweet Surrender is a roguelite VR shooter in a dystopian mega tower where you must adapt to a ruthless, fast paced, action packed environment. Use explosives, melee weapons, guns, and upgrades to take down the machines hunting you as you fight your way through the summit through procedurally generated levels. Explore levels, discover secrets, maneuver through treacherous environments, collect an arsenal of guns, upgrades, and explosives to mount a major assault on your machine overlords. So, Roots, here we have another roguelike, another procedurally generated game. And, normally this is the part where I would say, I just really don't get into roguelites, but every now and then there's a good one. Uh, I'm going to stop saying that, Roots, because since I started playing VR, every roguelite I've played has been good, all of them. So I think that this is going to be potentially another good one for us. And it's interesting because this gameplay loop that they're promising here, not all that different from the things that we've been talking about, that we've been playing recently.
Yeah, it's crazy. Look, and you got a Jupiter Grad type of a grappling hook, man. I mean, it's like incorporating a lot of amazing games into one. And the more I look at the gameplay on this thing, it just looks phenomenal. That's not the right GIF. But but yeah, it's amazing, dude.
Yeah, yeah, I thought the same thing. It looked like it looks a lot like Jupiter Grad, but only with this, action shooter gameplay. But certainly a lot of similarities, not only in the locomotion, but the art style as well.
Yeah, yeah, it just looks cool and procedurally generated, and that's one of the things that we've been marveling about Risk of Rain 2 is, and same thing for this, I would imagine, is just that newness every time you go in. It just helps keep things fresh, right? So you never know what's around the corner or what's going to end up happening. So
Yeah, back in the day where I didn't really care for the roguelites, it was the levels were just too predictable back then. You everything was just samey, just too samey for my taste. But the technology in recent years has progressed to the point that even though these levels are procedurally generated and there is some familiarity, I don't know why I can't talk today, familiarity with these certain sections of level, they're generally these games have a deep enough well of sections to put together that they can put them together in a way now that it seems completely fresh, even if you have played a certain section or what have you before. So I think that the roguelite as an idea was probably just ahead of its time. And now the technology is finally getting good enough to make that a compelling genre.
yeah, it's just crazy what they can do now. And yeah, I can't wait for this game to come out.
We do have some information here from the Steam page about the different things that this game features. First of all, it says agile combat. Use an array of weapons, tools, and explosives to dispatch enemy forces. Blast through walls to uncover secrets. Aim for weak points and adapt to the behavior of your enemy. Zip line across lava. Grapple hook through corridors as you gun down machine security forces. So, Roots, in this one, a couple buzzwords catch me there: zip lines, grapple hooks. This is all the type of stuff that gets you very excited if you're a VR gamer.
Yeah, yeah. I guess there is. I was going to say I didn't see any locomotion, but there is locomotion. So you got all sorts of stuff going on, and conveyor belts and grappling hooks, and it definitely explosions. I mean, it's kind of like what was that one game that we played that we had to breach the walls and stuff, and it was like that game.
Crunch element.
Yeah. So, I love how a lot of these developers take so many different things. I know you're not breaching walls or whatever, but some of the movements and just reminds me a little bit of that, and what you just described. And then all these other games brought into one, Jupiter Grad, and it looks like an amazing shooter to me. And hopefully the story is going to be just as good, and it'll be cool.
By the way, Crunch element. big updates coming to that thing. It's about to get a lot better.
Oh, nice. Well, the premise was amazing, and if you can get past Roots dropping his gun and not be able to pick it up because he didn't, go through the tutorial or whatever I didn't do. Maybe I should go through tutorials, Wes.
Yeah, I mean, they're generally pretty quick and have some valuable information.
Yeah, yeah. My patience is little.
Anyway, the next bullet point here says upgrades and enhancements. Discover upgrade chips that can heighten your abilities, gain EMP effects on your weapons, increase your strength and speed, siphon energy from enemies, upgrade your climbing skills to reach previously hidden areas, become a ruthless machine human hybrid as you progress onwards and upwards. Roots, so many of the things they're describing here are things that I'm enjoying currently when I'm playing Returnal.
Yeah. Well, that's because that that gameplay loop. That's exactly what you want in your game to draw people in and keep them in, and it's exciting to see um, examples of it in VR, and not only uh, seasoned uh, developers, but a lot of these indie games are starting to come up with these amazing things. This is an indie thing, right?
Oh yeah,
Indie
absolutely,
developer, okay.
100%. Small indie studio.
Yeah, so it's just cool to see gameplay loops being put in these. That's one of my biggest gripes about VR, and it's starting to disappear. Is the shallowness of the games, where you just don't have that reason to go back in, and the games are now drawing you back in, making you think about it. I mean, I'm sure you sit there sometimes with Returnal, and you're thinking about bosses or different places you screwed up, and how you could change and fix things, and and I mean that when you start thinking about a game when you're not playing it, that's when your game is doing its job as far as drawing people back in, right?
Yeah, well, it's a yeah, and this type of game lends itself very much to that. Because the structure of these things lends itself to grinding, and grinding really pays off in these types of games. Gathering weapons, leveling up your character. People joke about how much time I put into this, and only now just beating the first boss. I only fought the guy 5 times. I didn't. It's not like I sit and practiced it over and over again. I just love exploration so much that I'm enjoying grinding in the game, and generally that's what most of my time has been. It's just me trying to grind and empower my character up.
And when you can enjoy grinding, that's another sign that it's a good game.
Uh, Bullet point, learn and adapt. A fresh challenge with each playthrough. Encounter new variations of levels that introduce different threats and opportunities. Find secrets hidden away. Reveal notes from the past. Encounter monstrous enemies that weren't there the last time you visited. Again, Roots, it's like they're talking about Returnal. Every word here applies to what we've been talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. Mash wants to know. He said, "How about some Farpoint co-op?" He's definitely down, bro.
Absolutely, but I will. I can say I can't wait to do that, Eric. Absolutely, but I must insist that you make a certain amount of progress in the story before we do that, because the co-op levels uh, contain mild story spoilers in a certain way, and I don't want to get too specific how that happens. There are no story elements in the co-op levels, but there are things in the co-op levels that you can derive some sense of where the story's going. So I'm going to say absolutely 100% yes, but only when you've made it about halfway through the story or later should we really do that, because as awesome as Farpoint co-op is, the best thing about Farpoint is the story campaign, and I don't want to ruin that for you.
Yeah, I've never played a game where I was disappointed when the cutscene ended. You know what I mean? And it's
Right.
got a lot of cutscenes, but it's just that good. So
Yeah, and graphically holds up even with today's games. It's crazy.
yeah, absolutely.
Uh, unlockables, and progression. Achieve new milestones the further you advance. Unlock new starting builds and cosmetics for weapons and equipment. Catalog memories from those who came before you. Discover new weapon effects and combine upgrades to become an ever more ruthless rogue human combatant. So there you have it, Roots. Again, more of the same, more stuff, more attributes to games that I've been playing recently that I'm really enjoying, present in this game as well. Again, another reason why roguelikes are becoming something that I enjoy as opposed to something that I avoid.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. For sure.
Anyway, Sweet Surrender confirmed for Oculus Quest and PCVR headsets, expected to launch later this year. And again, more info on this title during the Steam Nexfest 2021, June 16th through the 22nd. So more to come on this game, not only on our channel, but on Steam as well. Be sure to subscribe and join the Discord if you want to stay up with the day-to-day on this.
Absolutely.
Anyway, Roots, we digress onto another new title. This one called Ruins Magus. Developer Character Bank is working on a new VR magic action RPG by the title of Ruins Magus. This is a Japanese title featuring a medieval fantasy aesthetic. Ruins Magus is set on a large archaeological site in the center of the city named Ruins City Grand Omnis. You play as a new archaeological hunter tasked to work with a new researcher named Iris to unravel the mystery of the ruins. Along the way, you will encounter various barriers and obstacles, such as the guardian monsters. Fortunately for you, you have access to skills such as magic, shield actions, and evasive measures to take on these powerful guardians. This game will comprise of 26 story chapters with more than 30 unique characters. Famed illustrator Sergei Yoshida will be helming the visual production for the title. Ruins Magus will be releasing this winter and will support both Japanese and English languages, with more to come. The publisher also states that the game will be launching on various VR platforms, though they decline to name the specific headsets that they will support. Roots, talk about flying under the radar. This one I just learned of today when I was doing the notes for the show. And from what they're saying here, from what I'm seeing, this game looks like it has a lot of potential.
Yeah, I think so too. Kind of has like a anime vibe to it, right? And that's
Yeah.
I mean, there's not really too many anime things out there. Of course, the ones that I've seen, I haven't tried, but a lot of people are really into anime, and I think this, if it's as good as it sounds, I think it's going to do really well.
Yeah, this what this game looks like to me is it looks like they've taken one of these VR anime stories that everyone loves, these Alt Deus, Tokyo Chronos type things that are always very expensive, but generally very highly reviewed. Looks like they took one of those and made it into an actual game. And not only did they make it into a game with gameplay elements, but they've kept the strong story base of the genre and stretched it out. I mean, it's 26 chapters to the story, Roots.
Yeah, 26. Holy crap, that's a long chapter. I wonder how long each chapter is. And Sam Vila wants to know if we announced the winners of Uper Grad. We announced at the beginning of the episode that we will be announcing that a week from Wednesday, because we're not going to be live on Wednesday.
A week from today. We're
a
going to do it
today. Next Sunday.
Yeah, next Sunday. So the next time you catch us live, we're going to be giving those keys out.
Yep. So one more week and you'll know for sure. And there was a lot of weird. It wasn't all that. It was a lot of weirdness around some of the getting the keys and stuff, but should be getting them soon if we haven't already. So
No, we already got them. We
Okay.
got them a few days ago.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we were going to do it this Wednesday, but we're not going to be live this Wednesday. So we're going to do it next Sunday instead.
Yep. Absolutely.
Anyway, they're really checking off a lot of my check boxes with this Ruins Magus game. It's not only does it have an epic length story campaign, which is something that I really love in VR. A lot of my favorite titles are very story heavy, but they're also dealing with subject matter that interests me. Being on an archaeological dig and having that be the setting that this story is based around. I mean, that's something that I've never experienced that I can recall in VR. And it's certainly something that interests me.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and it's kind of like you were saying about Red Dead Redemption 2, that what excites you about it is the time travel. This is a completely different era and a different type of a world, right? That I've never been in before. And I think that would be kind of cool to feel like you got sucked into an anime world, right?
Yeah, I enjoyed it for what it was worth. As broken as Nostos was, I enjoyed the aesthetic and the look of it. I thought it was beautiful, and didn't look too entirely different from this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, I'm interested to learn more on this. I'm sure that it's going to be crazy expensive. Most of these experiences are, and this promises to have a lot more content than those do. So, what if this comes out, Roots, and it's everything we hope it's going to be, but it brings with it a $40 to $50 price tag? Are we still in?
As long as it's a good enough game. I mean, my thing or has enough content. I struggled to spend $10 on the jet game racing game because there's only 8 maps. It's just like if there's something that's on my box, like a box that's not check marked, I'm gonna have a hard time spending $40 to $50. But if it has everything that I would want out of the game, I have a hard time not buying it, right? And then if you couple together with amazing reviews and it's something that's really intriguing to me, then I'm definitely there. It's like a good movie, right? If you put time travel in a movie, I'm like you. I don't care what it is. I'm already, my interest is piqued. And then if you put all the other things in it that makes me that draws me in as well, then I have to go see that movie. And the games are no different for me. It's just it definitely looks amazing, and if it holds up to what I think it is, I don't see not paying 40 or $50 if that's what it comes out at.
Yeah, and I think that if this game comes out and is what they're claiming here, I think that it's probably going to be worth a $40 price tag. I mean, you're talking about a long story, 26 chapters, 30 characters involved with the story. You're talking about gameplay which has you wielding magic
Mm.
and taking on monolithic, powerful enemies. You're talking about exploring ruins at an archaeological dig. You're talking about so many things that are going to be just so awesome to experience in VR. I can't imagine it not being great if they do what they're describing here. So I think if this is what I think it's going to be, then we won't be complaining about what will surely be a high price
And
tag.
let's be honest, man. Like anytime I've ever seen most anime games anymore, it's usually some young chick. That doesn't interest me. It's a cartoon.
You don't want to play Summer Lesson Roots?
No, well, no. I think I could probably play. What was that other one? The racing one, the witch one, because that's
Oh yeah, the
something
Broom
different.
Racer. Yeah, that
Yeah,
looks pretty cool.
but it's just the anime chicks don't. I never got it. I wasn't at a younger age at that age where it would be peaking, I guess. But other than that, if there's an intriguing story or something, then I think it's going to be amazing.
Yeah. So definitely going to be on the lookout for this one. Ruins Magus releasing this winter, and we'll support again both Japanese and English versions. More to come on this at a later date. Roots a little ambiguous with the VR platforms. It concerns me because the article I read on this didn't say it explicitly, but I think this might be a flat game coming with VR support.
Hmm.
So, uh, I mean, I think if it were a native VR game, that they would have some platforms to announce, right? The
Mm.
coming to Steam VR, coming to Oculus or PlayStation. But since it's just saying VR support, that leads me to believe that maybe this is going to be a flat game, and maybe they're going to implement VR with it as well.
Oh, that can be good. You know, it means it's got the funding, and after playing Risk of Rain 2, Red Dead 2, and some of these other games lately, the games that people were told that could never come to VR for whatever reason, are so good in VR. It feels like it was, especially Risk of Rain 2, like it was made for that. And I can't imagine they can't do the same thing with this. I'd rather have, like, let me put it this way: it seems like AAA games come out of flat games because they focus the time on it, whereas at least in the past, most VR games focused on getting the environment right to where everything looked right, and made you feel like you were immersed, but the gameplay loop or the gameplay in general was lacking. So this has the potentiality to be even better than we think because it's a flat game. If they can implement the VR in a non-janky way, even if it was third person, I think sometimes that might even be more amazing, if they take that edge of nowhere experience and they make you feel like you're really immersed in this world, but you're in this amazing gameplay with a third person character. I think it could be cool. So
Yeah, Edge of Nowhere. What a great one. On a related topic, Sony going to be revisiting the Uncharted
yeah.
franchise, as there's a movie in production for it, like a big budget Hollywood movie being made from Uncharted, starring Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg. Um, Potential from that to have some video game spin-off. So maybe, knock on wood, we may finally get what we all want, and that is Uncharted VR for
Ooh,
PlayStation 5.
that would be awesome. Or even Uncharted 4 that's coming to PC. Can you imagine somebody making a mod for that? I've never played through
Oh,
it.
that's going to definitely happen. That will 100% happen. Even if it's Vorpex, it'll happen.
Yeah, I can't wait, man. We're in such a good time for VR
Yeah,
in general.
absolutely, man. It's just overwhelming, right? I've said it many times. Like I could quit doing this right now and just turn off the entire VR uh, world and stay in my house with the games that I have right now and probably play happily for years, right? And never get bored.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And it keeps getting better and compounding month after month after month.
Yeah, it's not getting easier. That's for damn sure.
For sure. Anyway, in the chat, Eddie C says, I just don't like the tutorials where they throw you into an area and force you to sit through it with no option to skip, like in Lone Echo. I stopped playing Lone Echo because of the tutorials. And Lipnox agrees, says that was a brutal experience, one of the worst tutorials ever. And yeah, it was a bit brutal and grinding to get through the Lone Echo tutorial. But I will say this, how could you not? I mean, how could you play that game without that tutorial? There's so many complex mechanics going on and controls, unique controls to that game. I'd be lost if I didn't play through that tutorial.
Well, and that's the thing. They've learned a lot of things about tutorials since then, right? In general in VR, and the best gameplay tutorials or best VR tutorials are gameplay. Like as you're going along, it's introducing a little bit at a time, so it doesn't feel like it's a tutorial. And that was kind of early on. Actually, that was super early on, the beginning of the headset. I mean, this is where the Oculus was one of their biggest ones, right? Back then. And so they just kind of wanted to get everything out of the way. And that's kind of how tutorials used to be in VR. And now it's getting better. So
Yeah, that was terrible. The structure of the Lone Echo tutorial was horrible because it was just training module after training module. Like you do a 30-second action and load, 30-second action, load. And it was just one after. I mean, what was there? There was like 10 or 15 different ones you had to do, right?
yeah, it's just too much. It's just overwhelming. Eddie C says he's got to stop watching our show. We're making him want to buy everything. That's one of the things that we pride ourselves about is is talking about the games, and especially if we're excited about something, it's going to show. And we kind of steer away, for at least when we go into detail, we kind of steer away from some of the other game talking about other games, or at least I do. I mean, if I'm talking about a game that I really I'm amazed by, I'm going to bring it up 20 times because I want you to experience it. And we want everybody to see the best of VR, right? So uh you got to buy those games,
Exactly.
dude. You
Well,
gotta
we
you got
don't we tend to avoid talking about the bad ones, right?
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's getting easier. It's getting easier because there's less of them. And as we get bigger in the channel, we just, like we'll just say we don't want to cover it. We don't need the key. We don't really want to play it anyway, or whatever. So if and then if we find that it's not as good as we thought, like in Onslaught, we'll let you know. And that's just maybe save you some money, like GT did for a lot of people.
Yeah, yeah,
So.
absolutely. Yeah, um, but yeah, absolutely. Eddie C, a newer subscriber learning the beauty of our community. I hope you don't like holding on to money because generally we cover a game and we really like it. Everyone buys it. Yeah, that's why I guess that's why our developer friends like us so much. Is we play our role quite well.
Well, it's funny. It's almost like we want the devs to succeed so that they can make another game and have it be even better than the amazing game they put out the first time. Because we have a vested interest in it too. We play these games, and if we showcase the good developers, and they do well, then that means they're going to make another game, and then we're going to benefit from it. So I think it's like a big cycle of everything. Everybody feeds into it, and we all benefit. So.
Exactly right, Roots. And speaking of which, Stones of Harleth, the VR dungeon crawling adventure title from Theta Legion developer Garage Collective, is coming to Oculus Quest this week on Thursday, June 3rd. The game is now listed in the coming soon section of the store with a 10% discount for early orders. That takes it from its usual price of $10 down to $9. Stones of Harleth is a VR first person RPG inspired by gaming classics such as Ultima Underworld, Dungeon Master, and Heretic/Hexen. Players will play as a powerful battle mage stranded on an island, using their skills to explore the 6 dungeons located on its shores. In addition to dungeon crawling, there's the Theater of Pain, an arena location where you can battle plenty of monsters, horde style. Players will use gesture based spellcasting as well as close range weapons to take on a diverse cast of foes that dwell upon the island. In fact, there are around 25 different enemy varieties. As you progress, all of your knowledge will be stored in a grimoire, which will be referenced when one of your up to 12 different spells are needed. The grimoire also will contain useful quest information as well as a mini map. Although the game is coming to Oculus Quest next week, it looks like the launch of the Steam VR version will take place in about 6 weeks' time, the store listing suggesting that it will release on July 15th. Roots, this is a title that we've been looking forward to for quite some time. You and I both were fans of Theta Legion VR, which was one of the early boomer shooters on the Oculus platform. And my favorite of that genre, on a side note, you know, admittedly, though, I never played Compound, which is the one everybody uh, tends to recommend to me. I really enjoyed Theta Legion, and this goes back to what you were just saying, right? About supporting one title so that we can get another great, even better title. And from the looks of things, Roots, that's what is happening here. As good as Theta Legion was for what it did, Stones of Harleth, uh, while a different genre completely, certainly looks like an expansion in every way. Whether you're talking about, the map itself, whether you're talking about the gameplay mechanics, very nuanced gameplay mechanics with this one, or the enemy set. Every aspect of this game seems to be a progression from the developer, in the, their, for lack of a better term, skills and abilities when it comes to making VR games.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And to me, when I'm looking at this game, I kind of feel like it looks like you got sucked into Zelda, but you're a wizard instead of somebody with a knife, right? I mean, a sword. And
Well, you also have a sword as well.
oh, nice. Well, I really did enjoy Theta Legion VR, and I do enjoy Compound. And so having a story of this nature, or a game of this nature that's like wizards and stuff, it's right up my alley. Although I rebuke the pentagram there on the floor, the star with the circle on it. Somebody in the chat is asking, although this can be a little bit delayed, they want to know. They said isn't a Steam page yet. Any word on release time frame? And I'm assuming it's Ruins Magus, because that's where I'm at on my thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Do we have a time frame on that?
Winter.
Winter. Okay. Well, winter is coming, and this is a good winter. Not like
Winter is coming.
yeah. Oh God, I missed that series, Wes. It was so good.
Yeah, I don't want to get off on a tangent here, but I wanted to restart watching the Game of Thrones the other day, and I was thinking, you know, man, I'd like to watch this with my daughter, and then I started to think about some of the things in that series, and I'm like, well, she's 14, but I still don't think she's quite old enough to see what they got going on there.
Yeah, it's especially the first few seasons, all sex, and no, I mean, a lot of sex. They kind of tamed it down the last few seasons, but definitely an amazing series. So for sure.
Anyway, Stones of Harlath. The structure of this game. You're on an island. There are 6 different dungeons, kind of littered throughout the island. You have to talk to certain characters, or procure certain items to unlock different areas of the map and different dungeons. What you said there was very much what I was thinking when I was reading up on this game. Very Zelda-esque.
Yeah, absolutely. And who doesn't? That's one of the big games I want to play. There's a few. I mean, Nintendo, man, Zelda, Mario, and this looks like it's going to be the closest to Zelda we have in VR. And not only that, but a lot of times we say this, it's like this is the Zelda in VR. But it's like it's Zelda-esque, but it's not as cool as Zelda. This looks like it's going to be as cool as Zelda, but only time will tell. And what's cool is we're going to find out very shortly. So.
Yeah, and this kind of retro aesthetic that it has going on here kind of fits, right? It's an interesting thing because a lot of games are falling back on this pixel art style of art for their games, but it doesn't work for all of them. And in fact, I would say for most of them, it doesn't. For me, anyway, when I get into these games, they don't look very good. They look bad on a flat screen. They look even worse in the headset. But every now and then you'll have a game like this. Theta Legion falls into this category as well. It looks good even on the flat screen Roots. This looks amazing.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is, if it can be good enough to where I feel like I got sucked into this video game or this flat game or TV show or whatever it is, and makes me feel like I'm in that world. I don't care if it looks a little cartoony. It's a cartoony world, and I got sucked into it, right? It's nothing like real life, and I can totally get lost in those if they're done right. And this looks like it's done right.
Yeah, and I mean, not only does it look good, it invokes that retro nostalgia in you. Like if you were to get sucked in to Zelda, like literally get sucked into Zelda, this is what you would expect it to look like, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And if it's 2021, Zelda will be the hero instead of the damsel in distress.
right. Zelda be saving Link, right?
Yes, that's exactly
or shaming Link.
The new storyline.
Reckoner VR joined in the chat. Hello, Gary. He says, hello, all. Managed to get in here live for a change.
Yeah.
Hey, well, welcome. Glad to have you.
Welcome to the real crap show. I won't even say like Anthony's. As far as our internet goes now, everything else is good. So expect the hitches, Gary. And by the time you hear me say this, I'm sure everybody will have told you in the chat because we're so far behind. Maybe.
Anyway, not only a VR, I'm sorry, a Zelda aesthetic going on here, but very much similar gameplay loop as well as you are, exploring these 6 different dungeons located on the island. You'll be battling enemies using not only your gesture-based magic, but again, sword and shield as well. But with regards to the magic, 12 different spells to choose from, and you will find items along the way that will allow you to upgrade. So you'll find magical items in these dungeons, So we're going to be looking for chests to crack open, Roots.
Ooh.
So our each specific kind of spell becomes gets a more powerful variant.
Oh, wow. You know what's cool about this too? I noticed, Wes, so far I saw that there's 12 different spells, and so far from what I see, they seem to be very easy to do. Like one's a triangle upside down, one's a triangle, up. And that was one of our gripes about these gesture-based things. There's some games that are so difficult, or there's like it's just not as simple. And this seems like you're gonna be able to, especially once you learn, and be able to switch from spell to spell super quick, and that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. It's certainly it's a necessity, right? Because you're already, the platform itself, VR, already lends itself to a certain amount of learning curve. So when you're talking about something with this many different variants of things that you can do in a game, you kind of need it to have some very basic control mechanics. So that people can do it without thinking about it. We're already thinking about not hitting our television or tripping over the cord. It helps to not have to really sit and think about what to do in order to play the game.
And just watching this gameplay I'm like, man, I can't wait till this comes out, and then I realize that I don't have to. I can't wait to talk about it when it comes out, or when we're allowed to, because this looks amazing.
Yeah, certainly. Much more to say on this one, right? But we are bound, as usual, by agreements. We will honor these and wait until the game is released this Thursday to talk about it. We will again. We'll be covering this game next Wednesday on the Strangers in the Night late night VR talk show. Um, but if you guys don't want to wait, if you want to know whether or not you should buy it, just hit us up on Discord on Thursday, and we'll tell you anything that you want to know about the game. May even, if I have time, put a gameplay out,
Yeah,
to launch later this week.
that's a good idea. Yeah, cool.
Anyway, and by the way, if you're debating whether or not you should buy it and you're into dungeon crawlers and retro nostalgia,
$10.
dude, it's $10. It's $9 if you order it before Thursday. And I mean, if that $9 is a little too much to risk, there's a refund policy. You can get your money back if you don't like it. But something tells me that that's not going to be the case.
Yeah, I'd be shocked from what I'm seeing here.
Yeah, I think I almost feel like, and again, I don't want to say too much. I feel like sometimes these smaller studios underprice their work, right? Which I get it. You're coming out on a hot platform, right? There's lots of users
Mm.
on the Quest, so it's another approach, right? Volume as opposed to profit margin.
I think it's smart. And the thing is, you could price it as cheap as you want, but if it's not a good game, then the comments will reflect it, or the comments, all the reviews. But if you can get that price point at a cheap, like $10, and you have raving reviews, everybody will get it. Everybody. You know what I mean? Because there's no reason not to. I mean, usually the price point can be an entry barrier. It'd be like, that game's amazing, but it's $40. The game's amazing and it's $10. I'm buying it immediately.
Yeah, like
So
we wait on games to go on sale for $15. You know what I mean? When they hit 15, we were in.
yeah,
If this game turns out to be as good as we think it's going to be, yeah, I think you're right. I think everybody buys it at $10.
yeah. I think it's smarter. I think it's more smart. I'd rather have If I was in their shoes, I'd rather have my game be a little underpriced than overpriced, because there's just some people that are you'll never get if it's overpriced. It doesn't matter how good it is, and then you I think you're going to make more money this way. This is my opinion but there's different models, and each one's different for developers. So
Yeah. So again, much more to come on this game later this week, all through next week on next Wednesday's show. So stay tuned. Again, been looking forward to this one for a very long time. We covered this Roots initially. I think it was on Virtual Strangers 64
oh my
when we
god,
announced this game was coming,
wow.
and here we are. Uh, all these months later, almost a year now later. We're getting our hands on the game finally.
How exciting to see all this hard work coming to a head, right? Finally putting their game out, and just seeing how good it is, or how good it looks anyway. Because I have not touched it. So everything's projection, but as far as what I see, but if I go back to Legion VR, and then I can start to see, you know what I mean? You get an idea of how a developer is by their previous game, and that's why I'm so psyched, is because of Theta Legion VR and how good this looks. So
Yeah, and with regards to Theta Legion, we talk about it all the time. How we play a couple hours of the games we cover, and then on to the next, and we don't return to them. I went back to Theta Legion time and again, played all the
mhm.
way through that one because it was so good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, Roots, I think that's going to wrap up our news segment for the week and bring us into the week's reminders. And we're going to kick off the reminders, as we often do, by asking all of you to do your part to support the developer community by joining us right now in real time as we go to our computers and wishlist a game. And lots of good stuff on today's show, Roots. Lots of new titles nobody's ever heard of. Plenty to choose from with regards to wish list. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what everyone picks this week.
Yeah, and even though you have a hard time doing it, let us know in the comments below. What did you
I,
wish list?
we did have some people last week actually share their wish list title
Mm,
with us. So I thank you for your
yeah,
engagement. We
yeah.
really appreciate it.
Let's make this a new thing, and that shows you how much Roots engaged, because I didn't see that, because I didn't go and look at the comments yet. It's hard for me. I don't have the notifications by being logged into that account, because I only go in there every blue moon. Like I told somebody, I just don't want to confuse people. And whether, if you see a comment from virtual strangers, at 99.9% of the time, it's going to be from Wes. And then that way there's no confusion of who's talking to you. That kind of bugs me sometimes. You just never know who the person is under that account at that time. So
Yeah, our regular viewers, they've pretty much figured it out at this point. When I start showing up, I show up in various chats, and I never pay any attention to which YouTube account I'm logged into. Whatever one's logged in is who I am. So when I show up as virtual strangers, which more times than not is what I'm logged into now, people always know it's me.
yeah.
But anyway, what are we going to wish list this week, Roots? I mean, I'm pretty sure Stones of Harlath. Actually, Stones of Harlath just hit the
Steam.
Quest, the Quest store.
I mean,
I don't think I've have it on wish listed on there yet, so that would obviously be a solid choice.
yeah, but we already own it. I guess it still tells them that, though, right?
No, we don't, Roots. Not until Thursday.
Oh, that's right.
Um, and then we had so many amazing titles this week. We had I highly doubt, I haven't checked, but I doubt Ruins Magus has a page yet.
Not on Steam.
But I know that Sweet Surrender does. So there's another solid choice as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Chris
I
Duncan
think,
says Theta Legion's great on Gear VR and Go as well. So I didn't even know that. I guess I did remember that was brought
yeah,
over from there. So that's amazing.
yeah, a long time Oculus developer here. I love these guys, man, that just came up in VR. We have a few, not many. We have a few like our friend Cyril here that just started doing mobile VR and then ported their stuff into Oculus Rift, and then ported it again into Oculus Quest, and somehow saved their money and managed to stay in the game long enough to the current, the VR's current climate, which is finally starting to become profitable for everyone who makes a good game. So I'm really looking forward to trying out this one, and if it's as good as I think it's going to be, seeing our friend Cyril succeed.
Yeah, absolutely. All that hard work finally paying off, right?
Yeah, man, it's one of the reasons we do this, right?
Yep. Eddie C says he just pre-ordered Stones of Harleth after seeing the gameplay. Definitely good at parting money with from him. That's cool.
So I'm just logging into my Facebook account because that's what you have to do these days. If you want to do anything, you got to log into your account, bro.
I'm already logged in. I just go to my Quest page and boom. I never log out.
My problem is I share my computer with my wife, and she logs into Facebook like every second of every day.
Michelle, you're not allowed to go on Facebook anymore. No, just kidding. Actually, who am I to cover to tell your wife what to do?
No, she's good, man. She's more active on Eric's Oculus Quest community page than I am.
Yeah, well, there's definitely a lot of, Wes, there's a lot of weirdness on there too, man. Like people getting pissed about having comments deleted, blaming Eric, and then I explain that I was the one that deleted them, and then they keep going, and then Eric mutes them, and then they come to me outside of the group, messaging me specifically on Facebook, telling me, what was it, like saying, just insulting me, and being pissed that they were muted for a week. Well, now this person's deleted from the group, dude. Like at some point it escalated to this point that I'm like, dude, why would you do that? Like now you're out of here, bro. And I got the power, and it's just crazy to me.
But how many does he have on there again? 77,000
Almost
people in that
78.
community.
Yep, almost 78 grand, and it's growing.
You're gonna come across a few turds, right?
Yeah. We weed them out quick, and then I'd say probably 98% of the community is amazing, and it's that 2% that wants to like troll, but they find out quickly that we don't allow it, and it's just not gonna happen.
Not on Roots' watch, bro.
No, hell no.
All right, Roots. So I am finally signed into my Oculus Quest on my computer, and finally can wish list Stones of Harleth. If I can get it back up on here again. It amazes me how fast this Oculus Quest catalog has grown, and the quality level of it. There's so many great games on Quest now.
I know, just an example, man, that there's a new deal every single day. Several aren't, there's a new daily deal and then the weekly deals. And it wasn't that long ago, people were bitching because there was no deals. Literally, what, 6
Right.
months, 8 months? And now it's turned around to where there's so many deals all the time, and all these new games that I've never heard of dropping. It's a good time to be an Oculus Quest 2 owner.
Well, let me tell you, man. We're not gonna be doing a show live this Wednesday because I'm gonna be camping, and I am so glad that I have my Oculus Quest, because I work night shift, and I'm gonna be up at night while everyone's sleeping. And what am I gonna do out in the woods, Roots? I'm gonna play VR, bro. That's what I'm gonna do.
That's awesome, dude. I'll tell you what, there's nothing worse than not being able to sleep camping while everyone else is sleeping and you can't do anything. So you just go out and do your thing. Although you have to get some good lighting going. And Wes is turning his headlights on from his car or something, right?
Well, I mean, we have a camper, so I'm not going to be like completely outside. So there will be light enough to play, and I'll have electricity to charge, and we're not going to be staying in a tent for the week. So
I gotcha.
We'll be all right.
That's cool.
And I also have a gun. Anyone who's thinking about coming out and trying to find me and rob me, take my Quest, bro. You better think again.
He lives in Kentucky. That's all. I'll just leave it right there. They don't mess around when it comes to people messing around with you, right? Have your gun.
Onikaze pre-ordered. I love it, man. I love how our community supports these developers, right?
Yeah.
And it goes back to what you were saying just a few moments ago. You know, $9, man. I mean, it looks decent. It's $9. I mean, how could it not be worth $9?
I guarantee it is.
Anyway, let's move on to our next set of reminders. Everyone's favorite set of reminders. My favorite set of reminders, Roots. Free stuff and killer deals. And we're going to kick it off this week the way we always kick it off, by giving you your PlayStation Plus reminder for the month of May. Just a couple days left on this one, guys. Battlefield 5, Stranded Deep, both for PlayStation 4. Wreckfest for PlayStation 5, available for just a couple more days. If you haven't claimed your PlayStation Plus games for the month of May, be sure you're doing that now, because they're going to be gone before you know it.
Yeah, Wreckfest is awesome. We don't want to not get that one.
As good as it is, Roots, as good as all these games are for May, it's going to be even better in June.
Yeah. Oh, what's coming out in June? Or do they know?
Star Wars Squadrons is confirmed to be included among June's PlayStation Plus offerings. So the multiplayer lobby is about to kick up in a real way, Roots.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah, I need to get back into that game, if anything, just to have a little bit more HOTUS goodness and finish the campaign. It's actually a good story, right?
Yeah, that was my favorite part of what I played of it, was the story campaign.
Yeah,
which is interesting to say with this type of game. It's a unique thing to have such a well done story campaign.
Absolutely.
A beautiful game too, and a game with unlocked frame rates for PlayStation 5. So if you're playing it on PlayStation VR and you have a PS5, this is one of those games that actually can take a little bit of advantage of it.
There you go, Masher. There's your first game to play.
I'm sure Masher already has this on PC.
Yeah, well, but it's not unlocked frame rates, or is it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, yeah. That's what PC's known for, is having unlocked frame rates.
Well, it has some, not the games though, not all of them anyway. But apparently this one is.
Anyway, lots of other things for Masher to be playing, as PlayStation Network is now having its annual Days of Play event, Roots. This is a big deal. This is generally one of the biggest, if not the biggest, game sale of the year, not only for PlayStation VR, but PlayStation as a whole. Games are on sale, the hardware's on sale, probably even find bundles for PlayStation VR on sale right now. It's one of those events. It's on par with the Black Friday sale.
Wow. Well, it's actually really amazing. A lot of games going on sale this time of year, right? So there's a lot of good ones on here for PlayStation VR.
It goes back to what I was saying at the top of the show about the gaming industry being seasonal. These sales are certainly indicative of that. The annual summer sale is generally one of the biggest sales on any platform that you pick. They all have a summer sale, and they're all pretty big, and most of them are getting started right now.
Yeah. Well, there's definitely a lot of good ones.
Anyway, what about PSN Days of Play event? What do we have? Well, we have Fisherman's Tale for $7, a fairly well-received puzzle game with very high production value.
Yeah, its biggest gripe is people want more of it, because it's not the longest game, couple hours, but for $7, it's a no-brainer.
You know who hates it when it's not long enough, Roots?
Oh, man, I knew that was coming.
You know who else knew it was coming, Roots?
My mom!
Anyway, Arizona Sunshine, to this day, one of the best co-op shooters on PlayStation VR. If you have somebody that you're introducing VR to, if you want to slowly teach them how to play with full motion controls and full locomotion, at your own pace, and have fun while you're doing it, Arizona Sunshine, still one of the better titles for that. Not worth the $40 retail price, but if you can get it at $11 like you can right now on PlayStation, worth it all day long.
Man, how much you say it was? $11?
$11 for
Oh my
Arizona Sunshine.
God.
14 if you want the deluxe edition that
Wow.
includes the Dead Man DLC as well as the Damn DLC.
Yeah, why would you not spend $3 extra for two more campaigns, right?
Yeah, especially Dead Man. Dead Man DLC, well, it's not as long as the Damn DLC. Dead Man DLC is an excellent addition to that game. It's much better than the Damn DLC.
Yeah, yeah. Definitely worth $14. Pick it up.
Absolutely. Talk about you know, great deals. You know, the one thing, the reason why anyone should have PlayStation and PlayStation VR are the exclusives, right? That's what makes the platform. Whether you're talking about flat, whether you're talking about VR, it's the Sony exclusives what makes the platform special. And Astrobot certainly fits the definition of special, and it's a great deal this week. $12 for Astrobot Rescue Mission.
Yeah, that's cheap. That's no brainer.
Yeah, no brainer. You know, the really amazing thing about that is that you know what, this game was free a month ago.
Yeah. You should have picked it up a month ago. But if you don't own it already, get it for $12. And that may be Masher. I don't know if he owned it. He didn't own a PlayStation then, so he wasn't able to get it
He
for free.
he got it. He
Did he?
got it. He had an account. Yes, he
Oh,
did.
nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, he picked up all those games. Astrobot, Moss, Thumper, Res Infinite, and Paper Beast. All free during the Play at Home event.
That's awesome.
Yeah, some of the best VR titles ever. I mean, Res, certainly one of the best ever. Astrobot, certainly one of the best ever. Thumper's underrated, man. And Moss, everybody knows how great Moss is.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Creed, one of the better titles from Survios, also $12 on PlayStation this week.
Yeah, it's a good deal.
Doom 3 PSVR edition, $14. AIM support, a great game, a new game already marked down to $14. Unbelievable deal.
Well, it was really cheap to begin with, but $14 is a no brainer, man. It's Doom 3 in all of its glory, right? So can't
Yeah,
go
man,
wrong.
it's awesome.
And it's got aim controller. So
Yeah, that's the biggest plus, right? You get to play it with the aim controller.
yep.
Even people who have it on Quest or PC might want to buy it on PlayStation now for $14, just so they can play it with the aim controller.
Yeah, it's a different experience for sure.
Yep. Speaking of great deals, Roots, every time we talk about Dreams, it has a lower price tag on it. And I can't believe that everyone doesn't own it now. Dreams, $10
Oh wow.
right now on the PlayStation Store.
Yeah, pick that up. And I want to hear from you, Wes, and what kind of stuff's in there now. That's been around for quite a while, right?
Everything. I need to go back into it. It's been a while since I've been in it. And I'm sure that there's so much more in it now than there was when I checked it out back then.
Yeah, absolutely.
Firewall 0 Hour. I still submit that when it comes to competitive shooters in VR, this is the best one that I've played.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
$7 for Firewall right now.
Wow, that's awesome for the community as well, right? This is definitely a game. If you like shooters, if you like Rainbow Six Siege, this is your game, dude. This is your jam, bro. Is it still pretty good, right?
Yeah, man. Firewall has a evergreen community, man. That game never slows down. It never stops. People play that game. People love that game, and it's great. It's one of the and again, another one of the few PS5 titles that take advantage of the PS5. So um, definitely, I recommend if you don't have it yet. Masher, this is one of those that I would suggest you take advantage of. Firewall for $7, certainly a great deal.
Yep. Absolutely.
Killing Floor Incursion. You know, we were talking about Arizona Sunshine and its application as a co-op game. Killing Floor Incursion, also a very good co-op game. Gameplay a little bit more fast-paced and visceral. There's some melee going on here, not in Arizona Sunshine. And and one of the better looking PlayStation VR games, Killing Floor Incursion.
Yeah, it's just fun. Fun co-op game for sure.
Absolutely. Iron Man VR, Masher, half off right now, $20. Another one of the better titles, another great PlayStation exclusive.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's going to be run better on your PlayStation 5. So,
Yep. That's another one that sees improvement on PS5.
yep.
Moss, we already talked about, $15 on PlayStation. If you don't have this already, I don't know what's up with you.
Yeah.
No Heroes Allowed. This is a game I haven't played, Roots, but everybody that I've talked to that has played it says that this is an interesting and fun game, and I think most of them would recommend it at $10.
I never even heard of it. It definitely sounds intriguing. It's pretty good.
Again, I haven't played it, but it's one of those tabletop, like
okay.
role-playing game type, and you play the evil character as opposed to the hero.
Yeah, absolutely.
PSVR Worlds. Now, this is an interesting one for me, Roots. Do we recommend this game today? It's $8. It's for anyone who has a PlayStation VR that's going to be demoing it to someone. I say absolutely, no brainer. You should own PSVR Worlds as a demo title. Now, beyond that, if you're not going to be demoing PlayStation VR to people, there's some good experiences on it, but they're short. So like obviously the London Heist is amazing. It's still amazing. For those of you who don't know what the London Heist is, it's the tech demo that Blood and Truth is based on. So they did the London Heist. It's about 20 minutes long. The gameplay and the production quality was so amazing in it that people wanted a full game, and they got it. That full game turned out to be Blood and Truth. So that's amazing. There's also some other cool stuff on it. People like the Ocean Descent experience, which puts you in an underwater cage and lowers you to the ocean floor. People always love that one, and it's a great demo again for VR. And then there's another title that I enjoyed called Scavenger's Odyssey, which is it puts you in like this um, kind of like a spacecraft, but you're not fly. It's not a flying spacecraft. You're jumping from asteroid to asteroid, and there's extraterrestrial life on these asteroids that you have to deal with. It's hostile. So that was always very fun. I wished that it would have gotten a full game, but it never happened.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, there's definitely a lot of good, cool experiences on there, and for demoing, absolutely. I mean, I thought they were cool when I went into them. I don't know if it's something that if you have all these other games, you're going to be going into too much. And in most of the ones, at least the best ones, you know, that like London Heist and stuff. Hopefully, you've played Blood and Truth, and then you got the full game, right? So
Yeah, exactly. But there's good fun in here. I'd say it's worth $8. I don't know if I'd call it a must own like I used to, but it's certainly worth $8. I mean, don't forget the street luge routes
oh
where
yeah,
you lay on the road and go downhill. It's all head based, you steer with your gaze.
yeah, yeah. It's definitely. I mean, it's when I bought it, it was $20. So at
Yeah.
$8, it's definitely worth the content in there for sure.
But when we're talking about PlayStation, when we're talking about must buy titles, I mean, we got to talk about Resident Evil 7, right? It's still my favorite game that I've ever played in VR is Resident Evil 7. And it's only $10 right now.
Yeah, this is why I get so excited for Resident Evil 4 coming out on Oculus Quest 2, even though it's a different style of Resident Evil. It's still Resident Evil, and they're all done so well that, and especially this one, I every horror game that I play, I hold up to this one as far as because it's the first one that actually made me not nope out. You know, I'm not grabbing my headset and pulling it off, but I'm definitely freaking out about getting away from this dude that just seems to keep coming back to life. And it's the first real horror movie I felt like I was a part of. and that's saying something, right? I mean, I just called it a
Yeah.
movie and it's a game. I felt like I was in the movie, Wes.
Yeah. I love this game so much. And, with regards to Masher, we've already given him 2 must own or must buy deals in this with Firewall at $7 and Iron Man at 20. I get this first. Resident Evil 7, $10. You can also, by the way, for another 10, get all the DLC if you want. So $20 will get you all of it. But you need to get this. And there's also another must own before we get to the end. So he's going to be about $50 lighter if he takes all my advice. But he'll thank me later.
Yeah, it'll definitely be worth it.
Res Infinite, we already talked about it. $12. One of the classic VR titles, one of the classic titles, period, in all of video gaming.
Yeah, I definitely recommend this one for sure.
Solaris just came out, is still under its launch discount, $12.
Wow, $12, dude. That's definitely worth it. And you get aim support, and you get to play with Wes maybe soon. You haven't had a chance to check that out, right?
Not quite yet, but again, I'm planning on a PSVR stint. As soon as I get back from camping, I'm jumping into PSVR.
Nice.
Super Hot is amazing. It's one of the best games in VR, whether you're a beginner, whether you're a veteran. Super easy to pick up, fun all the way through, super cheap at $10. Don't buy it.
Yeah, we want Super Hot too, bro.
Stop buying Super Hot, people. We're never going to get a sequel if you don't stop buying this amazing game and these amazing value at $10. It's an incredible deal. Everyone should have it in their library. Quit buying it.
And if you just bought Super Hot, I have one thing to say to you.
Come on, man.
Come on, man. Please, you're holding us all back, bro.
We need Super Hot 2, bro. Or Super Cold, or whatever it is that they're working on next.
Super
I guarantee
amazing.
I guarantee you it's done, it's finished, it's polished, it's ready to go. They're just waiting on their line. They're waiting for the curve to go the other way, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Tetris Effect. At one time an amazing PSVR exclusive, now just an amazing PSVR game. Half off, $20. Recommend.
Wow, that's amazing.
The Impatient, $8. Now, this is an interesting one. We've talked about it many times. This is a game that's not for everyone. It's very slow. A lot of people would debate with you whether or not this is even a game. It's very story driven. The whole hook here is that the story is malleable. Your choices determine your path in this game, unlike any other that you've ever played. A lot of people didn't like it because of this. A lot of people did like it. It was certainly overpriced at launch. But for $8, if you like scary games, if you like dark games and you like story driven games, it's worth $8 all day.
Yeah, the cost was the only reason why it was questionable, right? I mean, that, and I guess it wasn't the gameplay. Some people just thought it was going to be something different, but from what you say, it's amazing.
Well, it's good.
Okay.
There are some nightmare sequences. I'd love for this. I love this in VR when you're in these surreal nightmare environments where things are changing all around you and you never know what's going to happen. There are literal nightmare sequences in this where you go to sleep and you're in a nightmare. So yeah, not enough games do it. This is one of the games that does, and it's worth $8 just for that alone for me.
Yep.
The Walking Dead Onslaught. We've talked a lot about this game, and a lot to be said about it when it launched. We were a bit more positive about it when it launched than some other people were, and I'm even more positive on it now that it's been patched. It has improved. I'd say $18 is right around where it should be priced at. I think that's a fair price for it. If it's any more than that, I'd say wait for a sale. But for those of you, especially those of you who are fans of The Walking Dead, I think you're safe picking it up for 18.
Yeah, I think it's what I picked up for on PC VR, and was not disappointed in that respect. It's definitely worth about $20.
One more title, and yes, this is the final must-own PSVR exclusive on the list today. Rush of Blood. You heard me talking about it a while ago. I've been craving some Rush of Blood roots. It's been too long since I played this. The gameplay's so fun. Just an amazing game. Although I think I heard Without Parole talking the other day that it's a little glitchy on PlayStation 5. Like it
Hmm.
runs okay, but it is subject to crashing.
Okay.
So you'll be playing and have to restart because it'll kick you back out to the menu.
Yeah, absolutely. Mepper says
Even
that. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, but even at that, and for $10, I mean, it's a no-brainer. It's one of the best VR games, period. Probably the best VR roller coaster I've ever ridden, and that's not even to speak of the action gameplay going on while you're riding the roller coaster.
Yeah, it's amazing. Actually, they were talking about in the Discord earlier about how, or maybe it was the chat here, how they wish this would come to PC VR. Mepper was saying that
That'd be amazing.
he's still trying to get a PlayStation 5, and Mepper, I would say keep an eye on the Discord, which I know you're a part of, because Derail's been really good about giving out info. I mean, I think the last time people had at least an hour advance. We were like begging Diz to answer the ping, and
Yeah.
and they were like links that were hidden as well. Like he was like, dude, this is a hidden link, and so people were getting it if you went into that link. So definitely keep an eye on the Discord for that.
Yeah, a lot of people getting PSVR or PlayStation 5s lately. Not just in our community, but in general. There's been some heavy restocking over the last couple of weeks, and a lot of people are getting them now. So now is time for renewed vigilance if you're trying to get a PlayStation 5, because people are actually getting them now. But you have to be tuned in, right? You can't be lax about it. You have to be watching for it. And our Discord, one of a few places that's good to keep your eyes open.
Absolutely.
All right, that's going to wrap up PlayStation. Bring us on to Epic Games Store free game of the week. Among Us Roots is free this week
Ooh,
on the Epic Games Store.
yeah, that's actually a cool game, and playing it free was definitely a reason to get it.
Absolutely, and for the record, the huge Epic Mega Sale still going on. They're still giving out those $10 coupons. There's still a handful of VR games available on their store that you can buy with those. And there's even another handful of games that can be modded into VR or played in Vortex. So be sure you get on there, or go back to last week's episode where we talk about some of the VR titles that you can buy during this month's sale.
Absolutely.
All right, we move on to the Oculus Quest store, where today's daily deal is Trover Saves the Universe at $18. Roots, I bought it. I finally got Trover Saves the Universe on my Oculus Quest. This is one of the games that I'm going to be playing in the woods this week. It's a great game, and I look forward to finally playing through the second half of it.
Well, it's an amazing game to play in a trailer, right? Because it's sitting there. It's a platformer with a controller, and there's no reason not to just enjoy it, right? You don't have to move around. It's perfect.
Exactly my thinking, Roots. So, I need games this week that require me not to move at all. And this is a game that requires you not to move at all. Beyond that, it's the funniest game that I've ever played. It's hilarious. And I'm definitely going to be making sure that I pack my headphones with me because I don't want my family to disown me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so we have some bundles. As we always do, two bundles this week, two good ones, as has been the case a lot lately. The first bundle is Until You Fall, bundled with In Death Unchained. So two of the better roguelike titles on Oculus Quest bundled together for $41. So we've talked a lot about In Death Unchained. This is one of the best games on Oculus Quest. It carries a $30 price tag. It's worth every penny of the $30 price tag. And when you look at it like that, now you're talking about picking up Until You Fall for $11, which is absolutely worth it.
Yep, absolutely.
Then we have Walkabout Mini Golf paired up with Mini Motor Racing X. And this is a Discord favorite of ours, Roots, the Walkabout Mini Golf. This puts these titles just under $15 each. Both of them solid titles, $29.
Yeah, I met Mash Daddy in this game, bro. And that's just what's so cool about, you just for the first time meet somebody and they become like a part of the fam, And both of these games are great multiplayer games. I think Mini Motor X doesn't get enough love, and we need to do some gaming in this as well.
I'm sure we will for various reasons. I'm sure we will revisit this game at least one more time in the upcoming weeks and months.
Nice.
All right. So beyond the deal of the day, beyond the weekly bundles, we have an actual sale on the Oculus Quest store. That's something that doesn't happen all the time. A lot of great games on sale for Oculus Quest, including Super Hot, which, I mean, if you're going to have Super Hot, the best way to play it's untethered, and the game is pristine on Oculus Quest 2. I think didn't they even put in like 120 hertz support on this? Am I just pulling that out of my ass, or
I'm not
did
sure.
that really happen?
It's very possible. This would be a game that would definitely benefit from it. I can't remember if it went to. I know it's at least 90 from this trailer, and it probably is 120 by now.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Maybe it's the 90 hertz support.
Either way,
Anyway,
though, it's amazing, and don't buy it.
Yeah, don't buy it. Exactly. Everybody should have this on their Oculus Quest. It's finally affordable at 17 versus $30. But you shouldn't buy it.
Yeah,
Don't buy Super Hot.
I almost was thinking about buying it.
Yeah, I mean it's cool. It's especially, I mean, when you think about what you're doing with Quest, you're using it to demo to people. This is a great demo game. This is a great starter game. This should be everybody's first VR game. Super Hot.
It's definitely an amazing game.
Roots, I took my Quest to work with me the last day that I worked, and I put it in my locker, left it there. I've been talking about VR to this old guy that I work with. Well, older, I shouldn't call him old. I mean, we're all old guys, right? He's a little bit older than I am. He used to be a gamer, but kind of got away from it because as we all do as we age, we have responsibilities and other things that take our interest. But I've been talking to him a lot about VR because that's what I do. And after work, I talked him into putting the headset on. 10 minutes in the parking lot at my work, 7 a.m. in the parking lot, drawing out a boundary in the parking lot. 10 minutes. He played the target shooting tutorial in Zombieland, and then he played one track from Coaster Combat. And I'm happy to say that he is now a Oculus Quest 2 owner. He went out that day and bought a 256 Oculus Quest.
That tells you the power of, I mean, who runs out and buys something immediately after they've tried it unless it's amazing. So
yeah, this shows you about what it really takes to sell people on VR. You can talk about it all day long, but you got to have it on your face, man. That's what really makes the difference. You have to see to understand. And dude, I literally blew his mind with target shooting. A gun on a table, targets floating in the air. That was it. Mind blown.
Well, plus you got to ride on a roller coaster and shoot and stuff. That game's really cool, actually. People discount it, and it's definitely really good.
Yeah, too bad that one don't go on sale more often. I mean, you imagine if that went on sale for like $8, how many people would buy it?
Fly off the shelf.
Yep. Anyway, more great titles on sale on Oculus Quest this week. Phantom Covert Ops for $22. This is one of the best Oculus exclusives that have come out in years, and it's a game that not enough people talk about. This is a must-own title at $22, and another one that anybody can play. Right, this is a good one because the locomotion in it is paddling.
Mm.
It's intuitive, like you pick up the paddle and you paddle. Anybody can do that. Now, it's not easy. It takes practice to get good at it. But this is a game you could put a beginner in, a VR beginner, and they don't have to learn how to play VR. They know how to paddle a boat. They know how to shoot a gun. It's an epic story campaign. It's got a lot of awesome stealth gameplay and top-notch voice acting in it. So, I mean, this is a big-time production that anyone can play, and I highly recommend it.
Absolutely. My nephew, when I took over the game over there, the Quest over to his house last weekend, that was what he picked to play. And my ex-wife was actually um, sitting there and she was watching it on the phone and she was like, she had the same reaction we did, like a canoe or a kayak with a gun. And I said, yeah, we laughed about it when we first heard about it and saw the trailer but it's such a good game, and it shows you that 11-year-old would that's what he picked. He wanted to play, so that's cool.
Yeah, we talk about Super Hot as being a great demo title. I think that one, for those who are just a little bit game savvy, I think that's kind of the perfect title for those people, right? Because again, it's so intuitive, the controls in it, and immersive.
Yeah, and I just wanted to throw this out there real quick because somebody was asking if the chat was going. There's 31 awesome, amazing people that have stuck through the weirdness of our stream, and that means more to me than anything because that tells me you're here for us as much as the news, and you guys rock. So we appreciate it.
People are just so gripped with these awesome Oculus Quest deals, Roots, that
Yeah.
they don't know what to do with themselves.
Well, a lot of people love this segment, myself included.
Lots to go though. Sirento, $14. This is one I don't have on Quest either.
Mm.
I was rather interested in this one for a while because this is it's not a port. This is a version of Sirento that was developed for Oculus Quest. But since then, I think that they ported these titles over to the PC version. So
It's crazy how good this is. And this is the one that Anthony back in the day said, I can't remember what his friend's name is, that was really into, like spent like 20 hours getting to be an expert at this. And man, the way that you move in this game, if you can really get it down, you do feel like a badass superhero. It's amazing.
Yeah, this game was still in early access when I last played it. It deserves another look, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a co-op. So
Yeah, I always forget that. This should be added to the list, right?
yeah, absolutely.
Swords of Gargantua, $19. Another one I've never played, but a lot of people really like this game, Roots.
Very well recommended. There's probably more to it than we think as well. I don't think I've ever played it as well. But we're over the VR roguelite. We know we like rogue games more than we used to, right? So
yeah, it's roguelite. It's arena based, wave based combat. So many red flags here with this one. Didn't try it out, but people say it's good, man.
Yeah. Well, I trust the community. If enough people agree, especially in VR, to go where they actually put in a review, that's usually a good sign.
4-player online co-op.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's 4-player. Damn. Why have we not playing this?
I don't know, man.
It's crazy.
Viport Infinity title too, by the way.
Oh, we need to check this out for sure.
Yep. Orbis VR, $15. A lot of people like this one as well. Again, not one that I've ever checked out, but looks solid.
A couple people that I've played with, Demio, really raved about this and said that this game is so underrated, especially if you like MMOs. And once you get down used to how everything is, and this is the thing I didn't know, you can play till level 10 for free. So you can start a
Oh yeah.
character. Yeah, so there's no reason not to at least try it. Give it a little bit of time. They said it takes a bit to get used to it, but once you get down the moves, that there's legit healing and everything in it. So that's what I was told
Yeah,
anyway.
not gamer chick into this one, right?
Yeah, I'd say I'm not sure. I think so, but it's definitely it's got everything
Oh,
that
wait a
an
minute.
MMO.
Well, I think it might have been the other one I'm thinking of.
Gaming science team.
Satan VR.
Oh, so yeah, that was Catan. Yeah, Satan VR. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I do know that this game does have a passionate community behind it, and it certainly looks solid enough.
Yeah, and especially since you can play the first 10 levels for free, that tells you, there's just a lot to it and a lot more than I thought. And why not check it out? So,
You know what I do have, Roots? 2MD football for Oculus Quest, and if you want to play football in VR, this is where you're doing it at, bro. And you know what, Roots? For $12, pretty good deal here because big updates coming to this game. More game functionality, new
ooh,
game, uh, new kinds of players, new player types,
oh wow,
getting ready to be added into this, as well as new stadiums and new gameplay modes. Lots of cool stuff coming to this.
wow. So what I'm hearing is the game is about to get really good. It's good, but it's about to get really good. Pick it up now while it's on sale.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
Death Horizon Reloaded, Roots, we know firsthand that this is a solid title, and since we've played it, this game has also been updated significantly. Melee weapons have been added into it, and some overall polish been added to it as well.
Wow. Well, we might have to go back and check it out.
$16 co-op title, zombie shooter on Oculus Quest. We recommended it before. We definitely recommend it now.
That's $16. Hell, for sure.
Yep. Warhammer 40K Battle Sister. This is a game that I have not played yet, but I'm going to soon because I went for this deal, man. I bought this game. So it's now part of my Oculus Quest library.
Yeah, $24, right? On sale. Definitely worth it.
Yeah. Beautiful looking game, big set pieces, and the newly added co op feature as well.
Yeah, Wolveraza just raves about how good this is. And if you're a Warhammer fan, definitely everybody I've heard was said it's amazing.
You know what's amazing, Roots? Angry Birds Isle of Pigs. $12. Another great demo title, another great title that anyone can pick up. If you've ever had fun playing Angry Birds, you're going to have a blast actually holding the slingshot in your hand, grabbing the birds with your other hand. And you know who loves grabbing the birds with the other hand, Roots?
My mom!
Yeah, she does.
And shooting at the pigs. In VR, it's a completely different experience. And playing it, you would think that that was how it was always intended to be played.
Yeah, it's a game that translates for sure.
Has a cool level editor on it. So once you play through the game's multiple levels, there'll be even more content for you on the level editor side of things.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely an amazing game. Definitely well worth the price of admission.
$12, hell yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And then we have Solaris, which just went on sale on the Oculus Quest store and just got a patch, if I'm not mistaken, a couple days ago. $16 for Solaris on Oculus Quest right now. Is this a cross-buy title? I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either. Is this cross play, right? Is there cross
Is
play?
it even on the Link store? I think, is it? I don't know.
I'm not sure
Let's
if it
find
is or
out.
not, but it definitely definitely is an amazing game, and you can it is cross play, so you can play with Wes.
Yeah, it is cross-buy as well. So $16, Solaris cross-buy. It's cross-play with Rift. It's not cross-play
Okay.
with PlayStation VR as of yet.
Okay.
But that does not mean that it's not about to be.
Yeah. Cool.
Anyway, Link Store. With regards to the Link Store, last week's titles that we highlighted, those racing titles, still on sale, and many of these Quest games are cross-buy. So those are also a lot of them listed on the Link Store as well. But that's pretty much the extent of what we have over there.
Yeah.
And then we have Steam, and Steam has a fairly significant sale just about every week. This week, no different. This week, it's the open world sale, Roots. And we often see No Man's Sky on sale for $30, regardless of which platform you're talking about, PlayStation, Steam, wherever. It goes on sale for $30 quite often. And we generally don't mention it because that's just how much it's on sale. It's always on sale for $30. But with all of the recent news and updates to this game, and the fact that it's about to have DLSS support, I felt like this game deserved being mentioned this week. Uh, for its amazing support that it continues to get, and that day is coming, Roots. I feel like that day is soon, where we actually jump back into this game and give it the attention that it deserves.
Yeah, for sure. I want to know how it runs on your 3090 or 3080 because Radio Run says it's struggling on his 3080, but it shouldn't struggle on the 3080. I don't think. But the SLSS is going to be well warranted for this game either way. But maybe you get into it and we can tell Radio Run something's off on his setup or something, or maybe you confirm it.
Yeah, maybe. Well, we'll certainly know soon because as soon as they roll that patch out, I think I'm going to jump in.
Yeah, for sure.
Speaking of DLSS support, Into the Radius also supporting DLSS, and another one that I feel like I'm going to jump back into when that patch gets added in, because you know what I like about this game, Roots? I like the weirdness of it. Like, this is a strange environment to be in. It's almost like an alien landscape, and it's dark and it's ominous. I feel like this game will shine if I give it enough time to get a little deeper into it. I've only played it like a few hours, and we have Scion who's put like 50 hours into the thing and loves it. I feel like if we get over that introductory hump, that this one's really going to take off.
Yeah, and they're like redoing the whole thing again. Like these devs just keep like making it better and better. The graphics are supposed to be amazing. They're splitting it up kind of like Tarkov style, where you're going to do one section at a time, which is going to free up resources. So I think it's going to be an amazing game when it's all said and done. And this is one of the reasons why Spry Guy says he doesn't do games in early access because, imagine if you played through this game, Wes, and it's before it gets to be amazing, and you might not go back to it, right?
Yeah, and there's lots of other big updates coming to this game other than DLSS. Like they laid out a new roadmap recently for what they're about to do. It's about to get overhauled all over again, Roots. And when they're done with it, this game is going to be absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, some of the picks have been amazing.
Paradise Decay says, stop the press. West needs to play Blair Witch in the Woods. Yeah, good call, man. I've got it. It's installed on my Quest already, and I played very deep into that game. I didn't finish it, but I played deep into it. I really enjoyed it. So, yeah, good call. Probably will.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so where were we? I had another highlight. Mepper. Costco seems to have plenty of quests available. You get a free case when you buy it. This is the deal that my friend at work took advantage of. He bought his at Costco and got the free case with it.
Yeah, and if people don't notice, because I watch all the different chatter about buying quests in the Discord and different chats and stuff, people are starting to say that they're, it's hit or miss. Some people are saying I can't find them anywhere. Other people are, hey, we got 7 of them in here. I think the quantity is starting to dry up a little bit. I'm not saying it's disappearing. I'm not saying you better run out and buy a scalped version. But I think, we're going to run into a point where you're going to want to have it and it's not going to be around. So I would pick it up now, especially if you can get it at Costco with a free case. So
yeah. Now, with that said, the supplies have actually been, it's been more readily available over the last 4 to 6 weeks. Here, anyway, maybe not the case everywhere, but they've certainly been in stock a lot more here.
well, that's what I was saying. I see so many different people in the especially in the Facebook group. It's hit or miss. People are saying I can't find them anywhere, and then somebody's showing a picture and saying, "Dude, we got 17 of them in our cases at Walmart."
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like anything else. If your store is selling them, they're going to keep stocking them in. But I think they're also sending them to different areas. I'm just saying that we're running out of components, Wes, for computer chips and stuff. I can't imagine that they've got this endless supply that's going to go on forever, especially as it's blowing up like it is. And I just remember last year when people couldn't find them, and it was like everybody was freaking out, and people are short-sighted. As long as it's in front of their face, they think it's going to be like this forever, and then they act shocked when it's out. And they're like, "Oh my God, what happened?" Well, listen to Roots. This is where Roots' Westradamus comes in. And I'm telling you, pick it up now if it's on your mind.
Well, I would say pick it up now because, you know, your time is valuable, right? And with regards to this technology, what you're gaining by buying it today versus 6 months from now is you're gaining 6 months of having it,
Playing.
and that's why I decided finally what I wanted my anniversary present to be, Roots, my big ticket item, and I picked it up. So people were wondering, did Wes get the the wheel? Did Wes get the haptic suit?
I'll tell you what it is.
No,
Oh no,
no,
go
I
ahead.
didn't.
Okay,
I
I was
didn't
gonna.
get either one of them.
Oh, what'd you get?
I got a new VR camera. I got a Views XR
Nice.
5.7K 3D VR camera because we're about to, after 18 months of being locked in, we're about to start going on vacation again. My children are only going to be children for so long, and I want to record that experience in the best possible quality.
Mhm.
So I bought a new VR camera, and I
What
just
a
got it in yesterday.
what a perfect anniversary present. You know what I mean? Because that not only that's for you, that's for your wife, that's for your kids, it's for everybody. And I mean, it's just going to create memories that are going to be amazing. I've seen some on YouTube of people documenting whatever event, and it's so cool. And I can't only imagine. It seems like no big deal now, but when your kids are 20 years old and you want to see them little again, they're going to be right in front of you in the same way that they are now, and the memories. I just think it's a good investment, and that's awesome.
Every day that I wait to buy this camera is a day lost of
Memories.
documenting my children and my grandparents and my parents, and I
Same.
just seemed like a no-brainer when you think of it like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now I get to go to the camping and go out on these nature trails and take beautiful pictures of wildlife and share it with all of our good followers here in our community.
Yeah, I was just gonna say maybe you can even do like some, like you said in the past, some openings, or not openings, but whatever, like if you're
Merch,
unboxing or
yeah,
merch, or if we ever get our Demio kit. I keep checking my mailbox, but I should
yeah. I
just
just
message
got
you.
those Demio kits, man, and
Okay.
Uh, I don't know what yours is going to look like, but I mean, it's an awesome thing. Don't get me wrong, but the apparently the little figurines in them are very fragile
Ooh.
because mine were busted to pieces, like broken.
Uh,
They, I don't know if all the pieces are in there. I'm going to try to super glue them back together.
what I would
Um,
do, especially since you have kids, open up the other one first, and if that's intact, I'd keep it because you'd get more out of that Demio kit than I will. Just you know what I mean? I don't know.
well, it's a keepsake thing. I don't think you can actually play it. I think it's just it's meant as a collectible.
Well, it's just one less risk, because it could be intact in yours and then be broken by the time it gets to me. So I would take a look and see, and if it is, I would just hold on to it.
Well, I appreciate that, but we did get those, and shout out to our friends at Resolution Games. Thank you for sending those to us. It's awesome. It's the coolest piece of merch that I've ever gotten from a game studio. Not that we've gotten a ton of merch, um, but what we were talking about this camera. I was thinking that I would, I've got the thing from Flow Weaver, I've got the thing from Demio now, and I've got this camera. I could do a series like that, in VR, full 3D VR, showcasing some of this merch that we get when we're doing this.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I actually tried to make a Flow Weaver video when when I got that, but with my other camera, it overheats,
Mm,
and my video ended up being 3 videos. And now we're talking about trying to edit VR video, which is something I've never done, trying to stitch it together and make it look like a cohesive video. And I just don't have time for it. I've got the 3 parts, but I don't have time to edit all that stuff out. So I'd rather just redo it now. The camera I've got now has got a higher resolution anyway. So we
nice.
can just have a do-over, right?
Yeah, that's awesome.
All right. Anyway, where were we here? I lost my spot. We got
Um,
off on that tangent. We are in Steam. We are at The Forest, $9. Talk about games that Scion likes to spend a lot of time in. The Forest certainly fits the bill.
it's an amazing game for $10 or $9 for sure. So much game to it.
One of the first games that I bought in VR, like part of my initial purchase of like 10 or 12 games or whatever. This was one of them, The Forest.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Chris Richardson says it costs him plenty, but he loves hanging out with us, listening on a Sunday. And Eddie C is confirming what everybody keeps saying. Battle Sister is amazing, so maybe I might have to check it out.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm convinced enough to throw my money down on it anyway.
Yeah,
And by money, I mean my Oculus credit that they gave me for dicking me around at the last sale. But I think it's going to be good, man. I think it's going to be the solo campaign enough itself is going to be enough to be worth the price that they're asking for it right now.
absolutely.
And Eddie says he feels the same way. Well, we make all of our listeners broke by doing the free stuff and killer deals every week, Roots.
Well, we're making the developers rich. Well, not rich, but we're funding them, so it kind of balances out.
You know, it takes so much time to do all these deals. I was thinking that we probably could do this segment as its own piece of content.
I was thinking the same thing, and then that way we're not as much rushed or feeling, even if we don't rush, we're always saying, "Man, we took too long."